the NFL on CBS from Landover, Maryland. Today, the Cincinnati Bengals meet the Washington Redskins. Hi, everybody. We welcome you to FedEx Field. Ian Eagle along with Solomon Wilcots. High expectations for both of these teams when this season started. Neither squad has lived up to them, Solomon. Second half of the season, though, beginning. So maybe some encouraging signs. We'll start with Cincinnati. What are the keys for the Bengals entering action here?
Well, in the crucial months of November and December, you have to be able to run the football. So it's run, Rudy, run for the Cincinnati Bengals. And then in his 9th career start, Carson Palmer is going to have to be poised under pressure against a very good Washington Redskins defense. And then on the Bengals defensive side of the ball, they're going to have to stop Clinton Portis because he really is the thrust of what they want to do on offense.
Both teams are 3-5. Washington looking for back-to-back wins for the first time this season. And the Redskins' focus today, in your eyes, what are you looking at?
Well, Mark Brunell has struggled on the offensive side of the ball, so they're going to have to give the ball to Clinton Portis. He gets everything going for that offense for the Washington Redskins. And then Mark Brunell is going to have to protect the football from a very opportunistic Cincinnati Bengals defense. And then they're going to have to come out, and I think defensively they're going to have to keep the pressure on Carson Palmer, force him to make mistakes. If they can do that, they'll stand a good chance of winning this game.
How important a game is this for both of these teams? Well, Cincinnati, margin of error is very slim. They're 3-5. Pittsburgh and Baltimore leading the AFC North. The Steelers, what a tremendous season it's been for Bill Cowher and company. NFC East, Washington tied with Dallas at 3-5, bringing up the rear. And the Skins trying to make a move with a victory here. Marvin Lewis spent a year as a defensive coordinator here in Washington. That was just before he got the head job with Cincinnati. And Joe Gibbs, 13th year as head coach of the Redskins, has to be proud of his defense, ranked #1 in the NFL. But Redskins, the only team in the National Football League not to score 20 points or more in a single game this season. Cincinnati has won the toss. Ola Kimrin will kick it off for Washington. And the former Redskin, Cliff Russell, the deep man, along with another former Redskin, Kenny Watson. We're underway from FedEx Field. On a bounce, it will be Watson taking it across the 20. Watson looks for an opening and crosses the 25-yard line. That's where Cincinnati will open play after the 15-yard return. Carson Palmer, he has taken every snap for the Bengals this season, his second year in the NFL, but basically a rookie at the midway point of his first year as a starter. Offensive line, Willie Anderson, he's banged up with a knee injury, but Anderson getting the start anyway, his 73rd consecutive start. And the backs and receivers, Rudy Johnson has been the workhorse. Johnson is on pace to break the Bengals' all-time record for carries in a season. He's carried it 175 times this year. Injury for the Redskins on the kickoff. It's Kerry Campbell, a backup linebacker, and an important special teams player who's laid out on his back at the 25-yard line.
Joe Gibbs is already missing a number of players. When we talked to him yesterday, he says, I have the most expensive bench in the National Football League. So many high-priced players still sitting on the sideline.
We'll start things off after this. Kerry Campbell was able to walk off the field for Washington, and we're set to go. A 1st and 10 at the 26 for Cincinnati. First play from scrimmage. Both of these teams enter action at 3-5. Palmer in the pocket. Rush is coming. Palmer throws a deep ball down the sideline into double coverage and picked off. Intercepted by the rookie Sean Taylor on the first play from scrimmage. Chad Johnson, the intended receiver.
And what they did, they actually baited. Look at, they're going to blitz Sean Springs, the quarterback, thinking that he's one-on-one against the safety. However, they get help over the top. You have both safeties converging in double coverage onto Chad Johnson, actually baiting Carson Palmer into throwing to the hot receiver, Chad Johnson, and getting help over the top of Sean Taylor. He comes down with the interception. But what an excellent play by the defense.
Taylor's second pick of the season in his rookie year, and it sets up Washington with a 1st and 10 at the 39. Off the play fake. Mark Brunell throwing and broken up. Right at midfield, it was knocked away by Madieu Williams. Mark Brunell, right now the lowest rated passer in the NFC with a 67.4 rating. These are not numbers he's accustomed to. Offensive line, the right side, he's still going. 41 years old, Ray Brown. He has helped solidify that side. The injury to John Jansen. Backs and receivers, Clinton Portis. 3 100-yard games this season. All 3 led Washington to victories. On a 2nd and 10 now from the 39 for the Redskins. Portis by himself in the backfield. And Brunell wants to throw it. Good protection, a dart over the middle, and almost picked off. Lavernius Coles couldn't grab it. And it's incomplete. Defensively for Cincinnati, that injury to Tony Williams has forced Langston Moore, the first-year pro out of South Carolina, into duty on the D-line. Linebackers, the rookie from Purdue, Landon Johnson, gets the start in the middle of injury to fellow rookie Caleb Miller. And in the secondary, it's a homecoming for Mediu Williams. Attended Maryland, he grew up just 5 miles from FedEx Field in Lanham, Maryland. And a 3rd and 10 for Washington. Liddell Betts checks into the game in the backfield. Brunell straight back. Steps up, Brunell fires, and nobody home. There wasn't a Redskin in the area. He took a shot from Dwayne Clemens, and a flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 92 defense, a hit with the helmet to the quarterback. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Dwayne Clemens makes a really crucial mistake. He's coming off the top of your screen from the left side. See him coming in? And I don't know, he was pushed in by the offensive lineman, but he did drop his head a little bit. Maybe that's what the officials are calling. Say it, a blow to the head by Dwayne Clemens on Mark Brunell. And
a colossal mistake for Cincinnati. They had held Washington as Campbell is now walking off through the tunnel and back to the locker room. 1st and 10 in Cincinnati territory at the 46. Taylor Jacobs in as a 3rd receiver. On first down, first running play of the day, it's Clinton Portis. And Portis, not much room to work with, a 3-yard gain as Clemens was involved in the stop. Now Cincinnati comes in struggling against the run, and that's an understatement.
Yeah, they've allowed a 100-yard rusher in 6 of their 8 games this season, so that's why they struggle. And only when they've been able to hold people under 100 yards rushing, they've been able to win. So it's crucial for Marvin Lewis to keep this team under 100 yards rushing.
On the quick count, it's Portis up the gut and a 2-yard gain. Langston Moore in on that stop for Cincinnati. Bengals coming off a 26-3 win over Dallas at home. And that opened the eyes of the Washington Redskins because of the problems they had with the Cowboys earlier.
They were beaten by the Dallas Cowboys right here in this stadium on Monday Night Football earlier this year. And they have great respect for the Dallas Cowboys. And Joe Gibbs told us, we respect what the Cincinnati Bengals were able to do in getting wins over both Denver and the Dallas Cowboys.
On 3rd and 6, a dime package for Cincinnati defensively. Long count for Brunell. Wants to throw it, deep drop. Brunell steps up in the pocket. Brunell dragged down. Looks the ball at the end. Justin Smith with the sack. He was ruled down. And the Cincinnati defense comes up big, a loss of 7.
Well, he's working down on the right side from the bottom, coming against Chris Samuels, the all-pro tackle. This is only the 2nd sack that Samuels will give up all year. Gave up one earlier against Green Bay, and it's just a hustle of Justin Smith continuing to fight to get to Mark Brunell as he has to step up in the pocket. Justin Smith stays alive and comes away with the sack.
And the passing game continues to be a problem for the Redskins. Tom Tupa the punt. Deltha O'Neal the return man. And a fair catch at the 10-yard line. 39-yard punt for Tupa. And the Bengals do not get hurt after the Palmer interception. They get the football back at their own 10 when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. T-Mobile, get more minutes, more features, more service. And by the new Chevrolets, 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution.
Rejoining you from our nation's capital, Cincinnati 0-4 on the road this season. 1st and 10 from the 10 in a double tight end set for the Bengals. Handoff, Rudy Johnson breaking one tackle as he crosses the 15-yard line. Ryan Clark cut him down low on the stop. A 6-yard gain.
And Rudy Johnson's going to have to break a lot of tackles today against this defense for the Washington Redskins.
Which includes Cornelius Griffin, playing at a Pro Bowl level on that defensive line. The linebackers, Marcus Washington, good free agent signing from Indianapolis in the secondary. I think there's going to be a little talking today between Chad Johnson and Fred Smoot. 2nd and 4 now. And a flag down as Johnson got the call, and Joe Salavea made the stop for the Skins. Gerald Austin, the veteran.
Outside, number 53, lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards. Result will be a first down.
Whereas against Marcus Washington, and a first down for Cincinnati.
Now look at the dominating defense they played all year. #1 in total yards, and more importantly in terms of 3rd down percentage and then points. That's what Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, stresses with this defense with the Washington Redskins. They don't allow you to score, and you know if you can't score, you can't win.
Redskins just 1-3 here at home. Opening weekend, a victory over Tampa Bay, but that's it here at FedEx. Some trickery. TJ Hushmanzada trying to turn the corner. And he is belted out along the sideline. Antonio Pierce helped chase him down. Sean Taylor in on the stop as well. And a 1-yard gain for Hushmanzada.
This team is built around the talent in their secondary. They're going to try reverse, but watch how many players get to the ball, particularly Sean Taylor, the strong safety. They can run to the football. They're very athletic. They all get to the ball. And that's why the strength of this defense, it starts with their cornerbacks, Fred Smoot and Sean Springs, and then the guys at the safety position.
On a 2nd and long for Palmer and the Bengals. Fake the handoff. Palmer has time. Steps up, throws the home run ball. Separation, and Johnson can't bring it down. Once again, double coverage. Sean Springs out there, along with Sean Taylor.
It's a 2-receiver route. At the top, Chad Johnson. He'll split the cornerback, Sean Springs, and gets behind the safety, Sean Taylor. The ball's underthrown because Chad Johnson has to wait on it, and I don't know if there was contact. Look, the hand, see the contact before the ball arrives on Chad Johnson. I think a flag should have been thrown on this. You see the disruption of Chad Johnson's ability to catch the football by Sean Taylor before the ball arrives.
Johnson last week, a lot of frustration out on the sideline that he and Palmer could not get on the same page. And a 3rd and 10 now for Cincinnati. 3 wide receivers set. Palmer skies one over the head of Matt Schobel. Incomplete. Bengals forced to punt.
I think the pressure that time got to the young quarterback, Carson Palmer. Schobel was wide open, and he just overthrew him. He did set his feet, had good technique, and just a little antsy, needs to settle down. But it's a large crowd here at FedEx Field, and we asked the players, you know, hey, this is a bigger and larger than normal crowd than you've ever seen. How will you handle the pressure? We saw it right there.
Right now, both QBs are combined 0 for 5 throwing the football. Kyle Larson to punt it. James Thrash, the return man. Thrash, NFC Special Teams Player of the Week last week. Thrash wants to bring this one back, turns it upfield. And Thrash crosses the 45-yard line to the 47, a 42-yard punt, 11-yard return, and Schobel on the stop for Cincinnati on the special teams. Good field position for Washington, no score. FedEx Field, largest stadium in the National Football League. They need a nickname. They need a hook, right?
The big package?
That's not bad.
How about that?
You know, Mr. Snyder's right over there if you want to chat with him.
I'm sure he will broker a deal, no doubt.
On a 1st and 10 for the Redskins at the 47-yard line. 2nd possession of the day for Brunell and company. Brunell wants to throw it deep. Skies one, a rainbow into double coverage, and almost picked off. Looking for Taylor Jacobs. Torrey James and Kim Herring had the coverage on the perimeter.
Already, they've thrown deep 3 times in this game, and now Mark Brunell taking his shot down the field, throwing to Taylor Jacobs, but the safety, Kim Herring, comes over, and Torrey James is in excellent shape to come down with this interception. He leads the National Football League with 5 picks so far this year, but the cornerbacks for the Bengals, you know, they're playing pretty good football also.
Neither QB has made a connection thus far in the first quarter. This is a 2nd and 10 for Washington. 3-receiver formation, and Brunell to throw it again. A quick dart to Rod Gardner, who crosses midfield. And a gain of 6 on 2nd down. Kewan Ratliff makes sure to bring him down. And the first completion of the day at the 10:38 mark now of the first quarter.
Yeah, and you would think that, you know, they throw twice on this possession. first down and second. Now you would think they would get Clinton Portis involved in the running game. But the Bengals did do a good job in terms of their run defense on the previous possession. So now Mark Brunell is trying to loosen them up.
3rd and 4 for the Redskins. Betts now in there for Washington. On 3rd down, Brunell. No rush to deal with. Brunell throws it. Popped up in the air and intercepted. Picked off by Brian Simmons for Cincinnati. And another takeaway for this opportunistic defense of the Bengals.
Well, you could tell the Bengals had a good bead for what they want to do. Over on the right side, it's their bunch package. 3 wide receivers. Madieu Williams breaks on the ball. He gets the tip. Brian Simmons comes away with a big-time interception.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper and your Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. And by Saturn. People first.
22nd takeaway of the season for Cincinnati. A +7 turnover ratio. Interception for the dependable veteran Brian Simmons. And a first down for Cincinnati in Washington territory. Handoff, Rudy Johnson. Pushing and shoving after the play as a number of Washington defenders in on the stop. A 3-yard gain. A lot of criticism here in D.C. over Mark Brunell. Joe Gibbs tells us in our meeting, hey, put the heat on me in the passing game. I'm trying to get everything sorted out with Brunell.
A very complicated offense, and Mark Brunell in his first year with the team, still getting to know the players, still getting to know the personnel. Joe Gibbs said, I don't even know what these guys can do and what they can't do. We're trying to figure it out.
2nd and 8. Handoff again. It's Rudy Johnson. And Johnson unable to squeeze through the opening. A 2-yard gain. Antonio Pierce, first man there for the Skins.
Well, the guy to watch is Madieu Williams right here. He'll see the ball break out, and then Brian Simmons will come and get the tip. But you see the 3 receivers all bunched together. He'll just watch the slot receiver. Watch him break right on the ball, nearly intercepted this one and took it to the house. The ball is bounced up, and Brian Simmons comes away with the interception. So they have a good bead on what the Redskins want to do on the offensive side of the ball.
3rd and 6 for the Bengals, looking to convert. Palmer stands tall in the pocket. First down throw to Hushmanzada. And brought down at the 31-yard line. Ryan Clark in on the stop. It's a 12-yard hookup. Palmer to Hushmanzada.
Yeah, Hushmanzada working against Sean Springs. He's going to be in the slot over on the right side of the field. And he just turns in, and he has good timing on this throw. Very accurate with the ball. Look, leaving him enough room to run with the ball after the catch. Palmer starts to settle in right now. This Bengal offense could get going pretty good.
And a first down from the 31 of Washington, stacking the line. Handoff, Rudy Johnson through a hole. Johnson breaks a tackle, cuts it to the outside, and a first down for Cincinnati. Good blocks by Reggie Kelly and Levi Jones. 15-yard burst.
Oh, the Bengals believe they can break it because they'll hit right off this left side of the line. Watch the safety come up. He'll miss the tackle. And they'll crowd the box. And with so many people in the box, if you can make one guy miss, then you should be out the gate and into the end zone. He was able to step out of the tackle with Fred Smoot and nearly scored on that play.
A 1st and 10 from the Washington 16. Cincinnati looking to get on the board. Motion man Kelly Washington. Palmer to throw. Quick toss over to Chad Johnson, creating after the catch. And another Cincinnati first down. Sean Taylor brought him down. But a 12-yard gain, Palmer to Johnson on the hookup.
And Palmer's already gone deep twice in the first quarter. Now they've got the defensive backs to back up, creating room underneath for Chad Johnson to catch that ball underneath Sean Springs, able to elude the tackle and create yards after the catch. So the Bengals have a good grasp of what they want to do. And right now they're executing the game plan.
And a 1st and goal from the 4 for Cincinnati. Long count for Palmer. Flag down. .704 mark here in the first quarter.
Ball start, 76 offense, 5 yards, it's still first down.
And Levi Jones told us this offensive line has had to make some adjustments this year.
Well, they had problems on the road 2 weeks ago when they played the Tennessee Titans. A number of false starts, and the offensive line was really in trouble. They said with a large crowd today, their plan was really just to come up to the line of scrimmage and snap the ball. Palmer has a different cadence than that of John Kitna, something they were very used to.
First and goal, back it up to the 9-yard line. Pump fake. Palmer looking for the open man. Throws underneath, and T.J. Houshmandzadeh comes up short of the goal line. Fred Smoot helped save the touchdown, but it's a 7-yard gain.
We said that Carson Palmer would have to be poised under pressure. On that play, you saw it. He would pump fake. See him going over to Chad Johnson. He comes back in the progression, finds T.J. Houshmandzadeh over the middle. And that's when you know a quarterback is working in his comfort zone, because he can pump fake the safety, draw him outside, and then create room to work inside for T.J. Houshmandzadeh.
On the handoff, Rudy Johnson. Johnson unable to break free. He had room in front of him, but Cornelius Griffin grabbed him by the ankle and saved a TD.
Cornelius Griffin had locked on like a pet bull. He would not let go. And had Rudy Johnson been able to step out of this tackle, he would have walked into the end zone. He had him by the ankle, and you thought Rudy would be able to get away, but no go. Cornelius Griffin had him locked by the right leg and was able to get him down inside the 5-yard line.
On a 3rd and goal from the 1. Palmer handed off. Johnson plows ahead. Second effort. He's in. Touchdown, Cincinnati.
An excellent play by the offensive line. That's who got it done. You notice they came right up to the line of scrimmage and they snapped the ball. Didn't waste any time, and it's over on that right side, and that's where they get the push. He finds the bubble. See the soft spot? He doesn't get hit until he gets to the linebacker. Number 51, Brandon Barnes, but not until he had already crossed the goal line.
8-play, 47-yard drive set up by the interception by Simmons. Shane Graham on for the extra point. Larson will hold it. And Cincinnati with a 7-0 lead. You can hear faint chants of Ramsey. Ramsey alluding to Washington backup QB Patrick Ramsey. Right now it's Rudy for Cincinnati. Cincinnati leads the NFL in points off of turnovers. Now 80 points off of takeaways following that 8-play drive for the Bengals. Graham will kick it off. Thrash and Betts are deep for Washington. A 7-0 Cincinnati lead. On the kick, Thrash, the return man. And trampled down out near the 40-yard line.
Give credit to the Bengals defense for forcing a 3-and-out by the Redskins on their previous possession. 3 consecutive pass plays. They go to the right side of the defense, trying to go deep. The secondary comes up with a big play, able to knock it down. On the second play from scrimmage, they keep it in front. They come up, make the tackle, no yards after the catch. And then on a crucial 3rd down play, Madieu Williams locked in, nearly had the interception, tips it over to Brian Simmons. This defense comes away with another big-time play, and I'm sure they're glad that the Redskins have gotten away from Clinton Portis running the ball.
We'll see if they get back to him here. A 1st and 10 at the 39 for Washington. On the handoff, Brunell to Portis, cutting it to the outside. Portis turns the corner and angles out of bounds, short of a 1st down. But good block on that right side from Randy Thomas, and Rod Gardner, the wide receiver, helping as well. It's a 7-yard gain.
Anytime you give the ball to Clinton Portis, good things happen. But he's normally gotten off to a fast start. You see, as you get into the 4th quarter, the carries decrease, and so does the productivity. So, the Redskins, you have to get him off to a good start against this Bengals defense that's been very poor defending the run.
Just the 3rd rush of the day for Portis, 11 yards, and a 2nd and 3 now for Washington. Coming up on the 5-minute mark here in the 1st quarter. Cincinnati with a 7-0 lead. Handoff, Portis again, and Portis breaks one. Clinton Portis crossing over into Cincinnati territory and tackled down at the 43-yard line. Brian Simmons whiffed on the play for Cincinnati.
This is that stretch zone block, and watch how everything gets going this way, but he's smart enough and has good vision to bring it all the way back to the outside. And the Bengals, they over pursuing, and then see him cut it underneath Brian Simmons, who comes too far up the field. And Clinton Portis, if you give him any slither of daylight, he's going to find it and take it to the 2nd level.
And it sets up a 1st and 10 at the Cincinnati 43. Washington on the move. Brunell, handoff again. It's Portis. And Portis able to get through the hole and get some extra yardage out across the 40-yard line. He told us there are two different ways of being patient. I'm not patient in terms of waiting for the hole to develop.
Well, the signature running play for the Washington Redskins has always been the counter trade where they pull the backside guard and tackle. And Clinton Portis had to wait on the big lineman to sort of get out in front. Well, he's a guy that runs by instinct, and by bringing in that zone stretch play, he's patient enough for the defense to overrun it and then hit the hole going downhill.
2nd and 6 now for Washington. There's 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Brunell will throw it. Timing pattern. Down the field and nobody home. Ron Gardner, the intended target. And the frustration from these Redskins fans continues to build as Torrey James was in coverage.
Well, this is an all-too common appearance is Mark Brunell overthrowing receivers or missing wide open receivers. Tries to go deep on Torrey James. He's not happy that he's not able to connect. Still getting to know his receivers, and you would think by this time in the season, at the midway point, that they'd have a better feel in the passing game.
A 3-receiver set, now 4 receivers on a 3rd and 5. Brunell, 1 of 6, throwing it for just 6 yards and an interception. Deep drop. Brunell steps up. Brunell, tuck and run, looking for the first down. He can't get there. This is not the old Mark Brunell, where he can turn that into a new set of downs. Landon Johnson, youngster from Purdue, able to run him down along the sideline.
At 34 years old, the old legs are not what they used to be for Mark Brunell. Landon Johnson was able to run him down and prevent him from picking up that first down. But there was a time when Mark Brunell, he looked like the second coming of Steve Young and had the wheels to move the chains.
They're going to go for it on 4th and 3. They're in the area of the field where you make these kinds of decisions, the 36-yard line. Either a punt, go for it on 4th down, or a 54-yard field goal attempt. 2 of 3 on 4th down conversions this season, and Brunell will use a timeout. And here come the boos here at FedEx Field. $7-0, Cincinnati leading Washington. Big play coming up for the Skins. Well, Mark Brunell is well aware of the saying, the 2 toughest jobs in Washington, D.C., the president of the U.S. and Redskins starting quarterback. He told us yesterday, right now, Bush has it easy compared to me.
He certainly did say that, and he understands that the passion the fans have here in our nation's capital, well, it's pretty high for this football team, and he knows that sooner or later he's going to have to produce.
He's having the worst statistical season for a Redskins QB since Heath Schuler in 1994. They're going for it on 4th and 3 from the 36. Brunell throwing, incomplete. Lavernius Coles. The pass was not on line. It was behind Coles on a 4th down, and the Skins turn it over on downs.
I think the fans do have room to be upset because he was wide open on that play. Mark Brunell knows that he should have been able to hit Lavernius Coles and easily could have picked up the first down.
Is it decision time for Joe Gibbs? Do you believe they've gone as far as they can go now with Brunell as the starting QB?
He believes that he could get more out of Brunell, and what he told us is that Brunell does a good job of getting them out of trouble and avoid the disastrous play. However, he has thrown an interception in the early going. I think one more turnover by him and continue to miss receivers that are wide open, he may make the move.
Cincinnati, a 1st and 10 from the 37. Palmer standing in the pocket, throws it into heavy coverage and completes it on a dart. Hushmanzada, 5-yard gain for Cincinnati on 1st down.
And how about the Bengals in the early going? They weathered the storm, the early interception on the first play of the game by Carson Palmer. All they do, the defense come out, they make big plays and get the ball for their young quarterback, and then Carson Palmer starting to show the poise and show that he's growing comfortable as this game goes on.
And a 2nd and 5 for the Bengals. Under 3 minutes to go on the first. A long first quarter here in Washington. Handoff, Rudy Johnson trying to shed a tackler. He can't. First man there, Brandon Noble sliding down, and Taylor's a little bit shaken up. That left hand is what he's grabbing. A loss of 1 on the play.
Well, he would be a big-time loss because he's a huge talent for this defense. They can go man up on the outside with their 2 good corners, Sean Springs and Fred Smoot, and then with a safety like Taylor, who has the size and range that he has, really just adds a lot of flexibility to this defense.
Todd Franz steps in for Taylor. And now a 3rd and 6. Palmer throws complete right at the first down marker. Carson Palmer put it on the money for Houshmandzadeh.
Well, it all starts with the protection. He's getting plenty of time to throw the football. And his receivers, TJ Houshmandzadeh, is really doing a good job of getting open, presenting himself, showing both numbers to Palmer. And Palmer's very accurate with the football. Right now, Marvin Lewis has this team going pretty good, coming in on the road and playing very well early on. 4th catch of the day for Houshmandzadeh, and a 1st and 10 at the 48. Quick toss out towards the sideline. Kevin Walter, little shake and bake move, and gets into Washington territory with a 5-yard gain. Well, the Bengals moving the football on this Washington D. Carson Palmer told us it feels like they play a top 5 defense every single week. Well, guess what? They go against number 2 next week. Yeah, they played these teams. They played Denver. They played Baltimore. They've already played Pittsburgh. And, now it's the Washington Redskins. And, yes, they are very good.
2nd and 5 with under a minute to go in the first. Handoff. Rudy Johnson right through the middle, and Johnson's got a 1st down for the Bengals. Doing it through the air and on the ground as Big Willie Anderson pulled to help spring Johnson loose.
Well, Todd Franz is the safety. He comes up, but it's just really they're hammering right at the center of this defense, and Rudy Johnson is doing a good job of making the unblocked defender miss. He's able to break tackles. They do trip him up at the line of scrimmage, but he's constantly getting to the 2nd level.
On a 1st and 10 from the Washington 40, it's Johnson again, and Johnson brought down hard after the 2-yard gain. Took a shot from Antonio Pierce along with Cornelius Griffin as time trickles away in this 1st quarter.
Well, Griffin's one of the guys that has come over as a free agent, made this defense so much better than what they've had in the past. But they're going to continue to hammer Rudy Johnson at this defense. And as long as the Bengals can run the ball, they're going to do a good job of staying in this game.
End of the 1st quarter, Cincinnati with a 7-0 advantage. Washington entered action with the 30th ranked passing offense in the NFL, and the numbers have been brutal so far through the air for the Redskins.
Right now they're going backwards, -1 yards passing so far in this game.
Cincinnati is going forwards, a 2nd and 8 from the Washington 38, a double tight end set. Starting play in the 2nd quarter. Palmer throws to the outside. Houshmandzadeh breaks a tackle, and TJ Houshmandzadeh gives Cincinnati a new set of downs to work with, an 11-yard gain as Smoot missed on the stop. NFL Today update. We head to New York. Greg Gumbel.
All right, Ian, 17-17. Remember that score at the Meadowlands. In overtime, Matt Stover from 42 yards out is perfect, and Baltimore beats the Jets 20-17 in OT, guys.
That's a huge win. Huge win for Brian Billick and company, and a big loss for the Jets to fall to 6-3. On 1st down, Palmer throws wide open. Johnson out of bounds. Johnson with another solid gainer for Cincinnati. 12 yards through the air.
Well, Carson Palmer is getting hot. He began this game going 0 for 3, and he's been on target ever since. He's finding Chad Johnson coming across the formation. Watch the protection. And you see the throwing lanes, the ability to have vision down the field. Chad Johnson comes down, picks up the 1st down right now. This Bengals offense, it's clicking.
Palmer 8 for his last 8 throwing the ball after starting 0 for 3. Handoff on 1st down. Rudy Johnson dives forward. Cincinnati gets you through the air with Chad Johnson, on the ground with Rudy, and a 3-yard gain. We're just underway here in the 2nd quarter. Cincinnati looking to extend the lead.
The story has been Johnson and Johnson for the Cincinnati Bengals offense, and I think the important thing is Rudy is doing a good job on 1st down, creating manageable 2nd and 3rd down opportunities for Carson Palmer in the passing game.
This is a 2nd and 7 from the 12 for the Bengals. Quick toss. Chad Johnson lost it, and it's ruled incomplete. Tried to run before he brought it in cleanly. It'll be 3rd and 7 for the Bengals.
Yeah, just have to slow it down a little bit. Plenty of time to make this catch and then throw a move heading upfield. You see, he wanted to take off running the ball before he was able to make the catch. But, give Carson Palmer credit. He's putting the ball on the money. That drop breaks his streak because he was on fire, completing 8 consecutive passes.
11th play of the drive for the Bengals. This is a 3rd and 7 from the 12. Kenny Watson has checked in, the former Redskin. Palmer has the protection. Guns short of the goal line, but a first down. Hooks up with Chad Johnson inside the 5 for a 9-yard pass play.
Does he have an impressive arm or what?
Sure does.
He's able to throw this ball on a laser. Now you're going to see what he's seeing. He sees the whole inside of Sean Springs and on the outside of the linebacker, and that's where Chad Johnson finds perfect room to settle in the zone. Carson Palmer fires a shot. Johnson comes up with the reception, and now he's injured on the sideline.
Chad Johnson being looked at along the sideline. This is a 1st and goal from the 3. Handoff. Rudy Johnson cuts it upfield and did not get the touchdown. Evans combining with Wynn to bring him down. Chad Johnson hunched over.
Oh, they're certainly going to need him because they're already without their other starting wide receiver, Peter Warwick, who's lost for the season with an injury. And so Chad Johnson's been getting a lot of double coverage. He's been seeing a lot of attention. So he is their primary target. The defense knows it. Here inside the red zone, let's see him run the football there in that I formation. They want to pound it or go with the play action.
On 2nd and goal, Palmer loops one up and caught for the touchdown. Tony Stewart. Touchdown, Bengals.
Illegal substitution. Number 76 did not report. 5 yards.
Wow.
So they claim Levi Jones did not report, but
Levi said, I told someone. Now, maybe he didn't tell you, but I certainly told someone.
they may have meant 75, Scott Kustra.
On the play, number 76 reported to the line judge. Therefore, the touchdown is good.
Well, now they're just toying with the Redskins fans' emotions here.
Wow.
The touchdown counts, and Cincinnati extends the lead.
Well, see the play action there, and that draws the defenders up. Marcus Washington, he steps up. It gives Tony Stewart just 1/2 step to get beyond Washington and give Carson Palmer credit. An excellent pass inside the red zone for a touchdown.
First touchdown catch of the season for Stewart, and an impressive Cincinnati drive down the field. 13 plays, 63 yards as Graham tacks on the point after. 14-0 Cincinnati. Early stages, 2nd quarter. Redskins fans have gone completely quiet at FedEx Field. Carson Palmer put the ball where it needed to be in the hands of Tony Stewart. A 1-yard touchdown pass and a 14-0 Bengals lead here in the on the kickoff. Thrash and Betts are back, and this will be Betts on the return. Hand it off to Thrash. And not much room to work with along that sideline as he crosses the 20-yard line. Time right now for us to take a look at the wisdom of Solomon.
Well, there are a number of surprises, but none bigger than what Marty Schottenheimer has been able to do with the San Diego Chargers. They're battling Denver for the AFC West title, and Ben Roethlisberger, his quarterback rating is higher than Donovan McNabb's and Tom Brady's. And the biggest disappointment you'd have to say is the Dallas Cowboys, who are struggling at 3-5 in Miami. They're suffering through their worst season in team history. There have been plenty of surprises and disappointments, but with plenty games left, there's going to be even more.
1st and 10 from the 23 for Washington. Quite close to joining that disappointment list with one more loss. Their margin of error is so slim the rest of the way. Handoff, Clinton Portis. There's a hole for Portis. Emerges through it for a 5-yard gain. Landon Johnson brings him down for Cincinnati.
There are some other overachievers so far in the National Football League. We already talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers, but how about the Atlanta Falcons now 7-2? And then the New York Giants, will have to wait and see which way they're going to go. But all these teams have more wins than they had 1 year ago.
Now, Cincinnati is at the same spot that they were 1 year ago as well, 3-5, and they turned it on in the second half of the year with John Kitna, hoping to do it again with Palmer. Brunell on a busted play, and Brunell tackled quickly, unable to break away from Justin Smith. It's getting ugly for Washington on offense.
Redskins are underachieving today, and here are some others. Teams who already have more losses than they did 1 year ago. We talked about the Miami Dolphins. How about the Carolina Panthers, with so many injuries, continue to struggle. I think the Tennessee Titans are a huge surprise, and then the Kansas City Chiefs proves that if you can't play defense, you can't win in the National Football League.
Now, Washington can play defense. They haven't been able to play offense, though. It's 3rd and 4 for the Redskins. Looking to convert on a 3rd down with Betts in there now for the Redskins. Protection is there. Brunell throwing incomplete. And the reaction again from these Redskins fans, as Gardner was the intended target. Mark Brunell has now gone under 50% in his completion rating this season with that incompletion.
1 for 8 so far in this game, and really struggling. You know, he talked about, hey, I don't know where the guys are in practice. Guys are able to get open. He said, but it's scripted. In the game, there are surprises. Right now, they haven't a clue as to what's going on.
Punt from Tupa, Delta O'Neal, returnable. And scoots out of bounds out across the 35-yard line for Cincinnati. Bengals with a 14-0 lead on the road. Cincinnati gets the football back when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by NFL Sunday Ticket, only from DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV or visit your local retailer for details. Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you. And by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
The frustration for the Washington Redskins and their fans on the offensive side of the ball. They have not even been close here this afternoon. It's a 14-0 Cincinnati lead, a 1st and 10 at the 36 for the Bengals. Johnson in the backfield, fake the handoff. Palmer will throw, finds a seam out near midfield. Kelly Washington, and into Washington territory for a 16-yard pass play. NFL Today update, Greg Gumbel.
Hey, Ian and Solomon, overtime in Tennessee. They're tied at 17-17. Billy Volek fumbles. Fred Miller falls on the ball, and then the Bears fall on him for the safety. It's over. The Bears win it. 19-17 in OT, guys.
Chicago showing some resiliency, Greg. Showing some resiliency last week against the Giants, this week against Tennessee. On a 1st down, sniffed out. Washington brought down by Ryan Clark. He was all over that play from the snap. Coming up, Nextel halftime report. Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Nextel halftime report. Second and 15. Once again, the Skins defense being asked to hold down the fort here, because the offense is yet to get it going. Handoff, Rudy Johnson. And the pile being pushed as Johnson picks up 2 yards. Antonio Pierce combining with Cornelius Griffin. Greg Gumbel, a very busy man. We head back to New York. NFL Today update.
Ian, Detroit at Jacksonville, 17-17 in overtime. David Garrard to a streaking Jimmy Smith across the middle. He'll complete the 36-yard play for the touchdown in OT. Jacksonville wins at 23-17, guys.
Greg, how about David Garrard filling in for Byron Leftwich? We knew he was a capable backup, but they just continue to surprise everyone with their ability to win in the last minute of football games.
And a timeout taken by Cincinnati. They've got 2 remaining, facing a 3rd and 13 from the 49. And Marvin Lewis will have a little chat with his team at the 9:07 mark of this second quarter. We'll come back. More second quarter action from FedEx Field. It's 14-0 Bengals over the Redskins. Washington and Cincinnati, both teams 3-5. Both teams trying to stay afloat in their respective playoff races. On a 3rd and 13 after the timeout for the Bengals. Go route. Palmer throwing and caught by Johnson. Big play by Cincinnati as Johnson gets up and runs, but whistled down inside the 20.
Oh, what a big-time throw by Carson Palmer. And the design of this route, because they have to respect T.J. Hushmanzada. He pulls Sean Taylor over to the middle of the field, and that's when Chad Johnson's able to get to the outside And then Carson Palmer underthrows it just a little bit, but putting it in an area where Chad Johnson can come away with the big catch.
A 34-yard pass and catch. Palmer to Johnson. Cincinnati in business again. 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Palmer throws. Incomplete. Some fans beginning to cheer just in front of us that Patrick Ramsey was throwing the football along the sideline. And a flag thrown on the play as Palmer was looking for the timing pattern in the corner.
Well, he did throw the ball away, but maybe they're throwing a flag. They may be discussing that, was this ball catchable? But if there was contact beyond 5 yards, it doesn't matter. They're still going to go with the penalty. We'll have to wait and see.
We have 2 fouls on the play. Ineligible downfield. Number 63, that penalty is declined. We have intentional grounding. Number 9, 10 yards, loss of down. 2nd down.
Patrick Ramsey, that was the reaction you may have heard in the background from the fans directly in front of us as Ramsey got up and started warming up along the sideline.
And I think the thought with Joe Gibbs may be that down 14 points, sooner or later, you're going to have to start throwing the football. And Mark Brunell has shown that he cannot hit the guy who's wide open. He's very inconsistent right now. And then you have to factor in how much does the team, the players who are getting open, how much confidence are they losing in Mark Brunell? So you have to give this team some hope and maybe go with the younger guy with a lively arm.
2nd and 20 now after the penalty from the 27. Palmer, play fake, floater, too high. He was looking for Kenny Watson. Jermaine Haley was in that area, bunched up. Palmer wanted a flag.
Well, Haley, he read the play pretty good because he saw Watson escaping out of the backfield, and he just peeled off, and he held up on his pass rush. He went with Watson, and he guessed right. He really came away with a big play.
Now a 3rd and 20 for Cincinnati. Mark Brunell has the helmet off. These fans cheering on the defense so they can get a look at Patrick Ramsey back in this offense. 3rd and 20 for the Bengals. Rush coming. Palmer gets rid of it. Unloads complete to Tony Stewart, but well short of a 1st down. It's a modest gain of 4 yards on 3rd down. Antonio Pierce, the linebacker, ranged over to make the stop. Clock is rolling, under 8 minutes to go in this 1st half.
Well, the Bengals did pick up the blitz. Palmer had to go to his hot read going to Stewart, but they were able to make the tackle before he could pick up the 1st down. So did a good job of getting the ball out of his hands. And I think the important thing is that the Bengals don't want to turn the ball over. Come on, kick a field goal and just protect the football, but don't play too conservative.
Shane Graham, he was 4 for 4 in his field goal attempts 1 week ago. This is a 41-yard attempt. Larson to hold it. Brad St. Louis, the snapper, from 41 yards away. He splits the uprights, and Cincinnati has opened up a 17-0 lead on the road. Patrick Ramsey will direct this Washington offense. Redskins are in a 17-point hole. 1st half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM, the official on-demand business consultants for the NFL. And by the 2005 Ford Mustang, built for the road ahead.
7:28 to play. 1st half here in Washington. 17-0 Bengals leading the Redskins. And Patrick Ramsey getting ready to come in as the quarterback of this Redskins offense after the kick. Shane Graham on the kickoff. Betts, the return man. And Betts tackled down at the 30-yard line by Larry Stevens.
And Mark Brunell could not get this offense going. The fans are excited to see Patrick Ramsey come in after going 3 and out yet again. And they have to do something to try to ignite this offense. And so here's Patrick Ramsey down 14 or 17-0. He's going to have to come out and try to give this offense some spark.
Ramsey so disappointed during the offseason when Mark Brunell was signed to the big money contract, 7-year, $43 million deal. Ramsey's going to get his chance here in Week 10. Handoff to Clinton Portis. And Portis tackled after a gain of 4.
Well, here's the reason, because they had a bust on the first play. Try to go with the running game. Clinton Portis, but the Bengals or Johnny on the spot, able to shut it down. Then on the second play, see the busted play? The running back Portis goes one way, Mark Brunell goes another, and then this appeared to be a busted play in the passing game. Mark Brunell looking dazed and confused, can't find anyone to throw to, and you see they've gone 3 and out twice, resulting in an interception and then a punt.
2nd and 6 now from the 34. Ramsey handoff again, and Portis running into a crowd for a 1-yard gain. Patrick Ramsey is 9 of 18 this season, 142 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions.
Well, you see they come out and they run the ball on the first 2 plays. You have to be smart. Don't get away from the running game. You are going to run out of time when you're going to be allowed to give the ball to Clinton Portis. Right now, I think it's not the time to panic. You create a manageable 3rd and 5 for Patrick Ramsey, and now he has to come through.
On 3rd down for the Redskins, already trailing 17-0, coming up on 6 minutes to go in this first half. Ramsey to put it in the air for the first time today, slings one, incomplete, looking for Lavernius Coles. And the Washington offense will come off the field again, a 3 and out.
Oh, the Bengals forced his hand. They came with pressure, and then Deltha O'Neal undercut the route by Lavernius Coles, and had that ball been on the money, he would have intercepted it. And that's what you do when you bring pressure. You force that 3-step drop, force the quarterback to throw it to his hot read. And if you could read it like Deltha O'Neal was able to, you could nearly come away with a pick.
Another punt for Tom Tupa, this time a booming kick with O'Neal backpedaling from the 16. Deltha O'Neal looking for blockers, and all he sees are white jerseys. First man down there. Well done by Adi Jamo. Loss of 3, 49-yard punt. Struggling once again for Mark Brunell this afternoon.
Yeah, 1 of 8. Only completed 1 of 8 passes. Not able to find his guy. He was able to complete a pass to the Bengals, though, and then, you know, trying to go deep. This is Carson Palmer throwing the ball away, but Mark Brunell came out, never really looked good in this game. Struggled from the beginning. And Joe Gibbs, you know, he had to pull the string and go with the young quarterback, Patrick Ramsey.
And we've seen Brunell a lot over the last few years with Jacksonville. It's not the same guy. It just is not the same player that starred for the Jaguars. On a 1st and 10, handoff from the 13-yard line to Rudy Johnson. And Johnson is spilled out after the gain of 4. Rudy Johnson, that workman-like type of effort. Yeah, we talk about how Clinton Portis has gotten so many carries. Johnson has been right up there with him. It's your last chance to sign up for free fantasy football. Don't miss out on all the thrilling action and intense competition of NFL 4th quarter fantasy. Sign up ends this week. Click on fantasy at cbssportsline.com. 13 carries, 47 yards for Johnson. Tack on another. Rudy Johnson's got a first down. Keeps the legs churning out across the 30-yard line. Rich Bram up the middle to center, helping to get Johnson loose.
Oh, this is just right up the gut, right up the middle of this defense. They're moving bodies, creating room for Rudy Johnson to run right up the middle. And if you want to take a team out of a game, this is how you do it. This is how you close out when you're on the road. You run the football, you run right up the middle of a very good defense. And if you can cause any doubt in this defense, you can take the Redskins right out of this game.
And a 1st and 10 for Cincinnati. Handoff again. Johnson, 1-yard gain, spinning his way with Joe Salavea in there for Washington to make the stop. 4:25 and counting left in the 2nd quarter.
And Bob Bretkowski, the offense coordinator for the Bengals, he knows when he has a good thing going. Right now, they're running the ball as well as they've run it all season long, and Rudy is getting it going. They're wearing down this defense. Look for them to continue to try to take some shots, but you know, they don't want to be too conservative, but if the running game is working this well, you just continue to feed it to Rudy Johnson.
Johnson, 95+ yards rushing in 4 of his last 6 games. He's on his way to that number here today. Play action. Palmer throwing on 2nd and 9. It's complete to Kelly Washington. Short of a first down to the 40-yard line. And a 7-yard gain for Cincinnati. Well, both these teams 3 and 5. They have to look at history since 1990. The 3 and 5 teams that have been able to go on and qualify for the postseason.
But if you improve to 4-5, look at the bottom of this graphic. 13 teams have gone on to make the playoffs. So both teams coming into this one at 3-5. Crucial game for both Washington and Cincinnati.
Right now it's been all Cincinnati on a 3rd and 2. Palmer guns. He's got his man, Chad Johnson, across midfield. And a first down for the Bengals. 12-yard gain as Johnson makes the first down motion.
Yeah, it's all about rhythm. They pound away with the running game, and then as you creep up toward the line of scrimmage, you get the ball into your playmaker, Chad Johnson, coming over the middle on the slant route. What I like about him, he's not a real big guy, but he's not afraid to take it over the middle. Knows he's going to take a hit, but yet he still has the courage to come down with the football.
15th first down for the Bengals here today. Handoff. Rudy Johnson is driven back. Marcus Washington, first man there. Finished off by Ron Warner, a loss of 2.
And there's been a number of plays made like that by the Washington Redskins where the Bengals won't get anything running the ball. They'll stop them for no gain, but yet the Bengals continue to pound away, and they know it's feast or famine against a very good run defense by their defensive coordinator, Greg Williams. And they're willing to be patient with the running game. No, we may not get anything on first down, but we'll come back and run it on 2nd or 3rd down.
2nd and 12. Johnson releases out of the backfield as we approach 2 minutes to go, 2nd quarter. Palmer throwing to a spot. Kelly Washington the catch and a 5-yard gain. It sets up 3rd and 5 with Antonio Pierce, the linebacker, making the stop on Washington. We've hit the 2-minute warning. Cincinnati with a 17-0 lead on the Redskins, and the Bengals are looking for more. Coming up, Nextel halftime report. Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Nextel halftime report. 2 minutes to go. First half at FedEx Field and a 3rd and 7 for Cincinnati. Palmer throwing. It's complete. Hushmanzada. Oh, he thread the needle for the first down. A 14-yard pass play and a smile for TJ.
It was a full assault on Carson Palmer. They're blitzing, coming at, but look at the poise. See how comfortable he is? He throws his ball. It's actually tipped at the line of scrimmage, but he puts enough heat on it where he's still able to complete that pass to TJ Hushmanzada. And the receivers are making some big plays, especially on 3rd down. They're coming down with the football and then able to pick up yards after the catch.
Lopsided in the total yards category in favor of Cincinnati. 1st and 10 from the 32. Looking for the long ball. Incomplete. Chad Johnson got his hands on it. Sean Taylor was over in coverage. It's 2nd and 10.
Well, the timing was there. The throw was there. Chad Johnson not able to hold on to it. And they drove over 200 miles round trip over to Indianapolis for the Monday night game at the RCA Dome. And, you know, they wanted to watch Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. They said, that's who we want to be. So you could see the timing and the consistency that they're beginning to develop. They did struggle last week at times against the Dallas Cowboys, but, you know, they're trusting that chemistry, and they're just going to get better as they grow with this football team.
Cincinnati uses a timeout with 1:19 left first half. They still have 1 remaining. And a 17-0 lead for Marvin Lewis and company. NFL.com fan poll question: who should be the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins? You can cast your vote at NFL.com.
Who wants it right now?
2nd and 10 from the 32. Cincinnati. Palmer throws incomplete. Hushmanzada, the closest Bengal near that throw, as it skied over Hushmanzada and Sean Taylor of the Redskins. Carson Palmer, though, putting up big first half numbers.
Well, we said he had to be poised under pressure, and they've come after him. I mean, this is a real good defense, and they put the pressure on him. Give credit to the offensive line and the backs in their blitz protections, providing time for Palmer. He has been poised, completing 18 of 26, and only 1 interception, the first mistake on the first play of the game.
The 11th play of the drive. Here comes the rush. Palmer throws, intercepted. It's picked off by Walt Harris, the veteran, streaking. And Harris crosses midfield into Cincinnati territory. 2nd mistake of the day for Carson Palmer. And it looked like the Bengals were driving with a chance to add to their lead.
And have to have a better understanding. He's throwing this ball a long way. See, he's on the far hash, and this ball is going to go way outside the numbers. Watch the break by Walt Harris, and he actually threw the ball behind the intended receiver, Chad Johnson, And so Harris breaks on it, comes away with the pick. And, you know, this is costly. Defense have to hold here because you don't want to give up any points in the final minutes of the first half.
First pick of the season for the 9-year veteran, Walt Harris. Second interception of the day for Palmer. 1:05 left on the clock, and Washington gets some points before the break. Patrick Ramsey, who came in for Mark Brunell. He guns complete to the 30-yard line. Lavernius Coles, and the crowd has rejoined the activity here in D.C.
How do you let a team back in it? You turn the ball over, and then you allow them to make big plays after the turnover. Sudden change situations, the defense is going to have to stand up big.
Redskins still have 2 timeouts remaining. A 1st and 10 at the 29. Ramsey goes down. Clock is still moving. 32 seconds left. And finally, the timeout is called as Robert Gathers got some of the pressure. And Ramsey buckled for a loss of 7. 30 seconds left. First half at FedEx Field. The interception from Walt Harris has given Washington an opportunity to get on the board with 30 seconds left. First half, 17-0. Cincinnati leads it. 2nd and 17 for the Redskins. Deep drop by Ramsey, stepping up. Ramsey knocked down to the line of scrimmage and incomplete. Looked like Dwayne Clemens got his hand on it. And it'll be 3rd and long for Washington.
Well, the pressure came off the left side of the Bengals defense. Clemens is coming. Robert Gathers, he's coming. He's able to get some pressure, pushing the right tackle, Ray Brown, into the face of the quarterback. The Bengals right now pinning their ears back, coming after Patrick Ramsey. They can't allow him to get comfortable in the pocket.
And they still need some yards here for a realistic field goal. 3rd and 17. Right now they're looking at about a 54-yard. Ramsey steps up. Ramsey has the time. He throws incomplete. Across the body of Clinton Portis. 19 seconds remain in this first half.
Madieu Williams had excellent coverage on Clinton Portis coming over the middle of the field. That ball's thrown just a little bit behind his intended receiver.
It is 4th and 17 or a 54-yard field goal try or a punt.
Well, you don't have to necessarily go for the end zone on this 4th down play. You could still pick up a first down if you get inside the 19-yard line. So I expect them to try to get something over the middle of the football field.
Elected not to go for the field goal try and go for it on 4th down. Ramsey dump off. Can Portis get a first down? He cannot. Clinton Portis is tackled at the original line of scrimmage, and Madieu Williams will be given credit for the stop.
I thought this was a poor choice by Patrick Ramsey. You have to challenge this defense by going up the football field. You can't expect Clinton Portis to make several people miss on the tackle and still pick up that first down. And if he doesn't pick up the first down, you have to give the ball back to the Cincinnati Bengals.
You know, the other part of the problem here, John Hall, who's got the big leg, is out with a groin injury. They may not trust Ola Kimmerin to attempt a 50-plus yard field goal.
No doubt, a substantial kick. However, you have to try to get the ball further, try to pick up that first down, or take a shot in the end zone.
Cincinnati takes a knee, and it's the end of the first half here in Landover, Maryland. Bengals with a 17-0 lead on the Redskins. We'll come back. The Nextel halftime report is coming up after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report. Nextel helps groups get things done. Nextel, done.
Hi, everyone. Welcome once again to our studios in New York, the Nextel Halftime Report. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason. Our score at halftime, 17-0 Cincinnati over Washington. What happened to that commitment to Mark Brunell?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's been painful. We've been sitting here watching it, wondering whether or not Joe Gibbs was going to make the move. And he told us in the pregame show, as you were interviewing him, that he's going to stick with Mark. He's tough, he's smart, he's got great character, but that doesn't add up to touchdowns. And they are struggling on offense. And on the other side, Carson Palmer looks great. He really does. A couple underthrown balls where he could have big numbers, but he's played a very good first half.
And you and Carson have the same color jersey, too.
No, please.
Green Bay leading Minnesota 21-10. 3 touchdown passes for Brett Favre so far today. The Giants leading Arizona. Emmitt Smith has gone over 18,000 yards for his career rushing in this game. San Francisco over the 49ers as this first half or second quarter winds down 17-3. The 49ers in the lead. Earlier today, Boomer, Jets and the Ravens.
I'll tell you what, excruciating loss for the Jets right here. 4th and goal, the Jets stop Jamal Lewis. Nice play. Next series of downs, the Jets take over. Great block, Gerald Soule on Ray Lewis in the hole right there. And Curtis Martin goes in for the touchdown. Then Kyle Bowler comes back. This is 3rd down right here. Touchdown pass to Clarence Moore. And then, right at the middle of the overtime period, Kyle Bowler, another completed pass to Johnson. And then Matt Stover with the game-winning field goals. The Baltimore Ravens go on to beat the Jets.
Kyle Bowler, you got to hand it to him. He did it today. 19 of 33, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. Shannon, Pittsburgh, Cleveland.
Yeah, this has been talked about. This is an ugly incident. We don't need this in the NFL. These guys are going to get talked to by Mr. Tagliabue. But there was a game played, and the bus gets the party started early. 5-yard touchdown. 7-3 Pittsburgh early. Jerome Bettis gets up. He's excited. Yeah, this is what we came to do, fellas. Smash mouth football. Garcia fumbles the football. Herman Cattell caught it with Ben Roethlisberger. Talk to us about it, Ben.
You know, he says we just have to rally as a team. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure we come out and focus on what we have to do. Obviously, losing Joey was huge for our defense, but the rest of the guys rallied around him. You know, we said, let's go out and win one for him, and I think they came out and did a great job.
Jerome Bettis, 2 back-to-back 100-yard games, first time since 2001. Dan, Kansas City, New Orleans.
And Derek Blaylock goes in for a 3-yard touchdown here, which ties the game at 20 for Kansas City. And then Aaron Brooks, with the game on the line, drops back all day to throw it. He finds Joe Horn down the middle of the field. Big-time play, 42-yard touchdowns, and the Saints go up by 7. Oh, he's hugging that little, yeah, there you go.
And Dick Vermeil's team had 12 penalties and 4 turnovers. That doesn't get it done in New Orleans. Boomer, Tampa Bay at Atlanta.
Michael Vick, 147-yard passing, 76 yards rushing. But Brian Greasy right here trying to bring his team back from behind. 17-7, now it's 17-14. And then Michael Vick, look left, come back, find Algie Crumper right down the middle of the field. Beautiful throw, 49-yard touchdown pass. Falcons go on to win 24-14.
Not a bad day for Mr. Vick. They win it by 10. Dan, Houston and Indy.
And Peyton Manning is a touchdown throwing machine. He finds Dallas Clark right here, the 29th touchdown of the year, 3rd on the day. He was 18 for 27, 320 yards, 5 touchdowns. Finds Brandon Stokely here. Nice play, runs outside. Peyton Manning talks us about playing with the lead after the game.
It was a great division win for us. It's kind of an overall team effort. Sometimes we do struggle when we get a big lead and we're still running the no-huddle offense, yet trying to run the clock. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense sometimes. So that's a good problem to have, I guess, when you have a big lead and you're trying to execute your no-huddle offense. So maybe it's something we need to work on. But it was good execution overall today.
Peyton, 14 touchdown passes in his last 3 games, 31 on the year. Shannon, Detroit and Jacksonville went to OT.
Yeah, Jacksonville had an opportunity to run this game out, but they had to punt in. Eddie Drummond gets the party started.
What was that?
Go, get him, punt him, you tackle him, you win the ball game. You can't. Eddie Drummond sends this game into overtime. Byron Leftwich, oh my goodness, we had a big lead. We let it slip away. Guys, come on, don't lose this game. David Garrard, 37 yards to Jimmy Smith. It's a touchdown, and the Jags win 23-17, and the fans go crazy.
Jacksonville 6-3 on the year. Detroit falls to 4-5. Boomer, the Bears and the Titans.
Hey, despite only 176 yards of total offense, the Titans actually lost this game. But even though this is a touchdown pass right here to Drew Brennan to tie it up, how about this? Billy Volk at the end of the game, only the 2nd time in NFL history that a game is ended on a safety. Ball is fallen on by Fred Miller, but that's a safety. It's in overtime. Chicago wins 19-17 despite those 176 yards on offense.
Bears up to 4-5. The Titans down to 3-6. And Shannon, Seattle, St. Louis.
This was a big game. Sean Alexander went over 1,000 yards rushing. He's running the football. But watch this play by Aeneas Williams. Ooh, he forgot the football. Rich Cody recovers it. St. Louis ball going the other way. And Marshall Faulk, they got back to running the football. He went over 41st 100-yard game of his career as they win 23-12 over the
big statement by the Rams as they take the second of 2 against the Seattle Seahawks. We thank you for joining us here on Nextel Halftime Report. We'll send you back to Washington for the second half after this.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report. Nextel helps groups get things done. Nextel done. CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report. Sponsored by Nextel Nationwide Walkie-Talkie.
Halftime, the Cincinnati Bengals with a 17-0 lead over the Redskins. The second half coming up. Getting ready for the start of the second half. Cincinnati leading Washington 17-0. Ian Eagle along with Solomon Wilcots. Let me just get this out of the way. I've got about 10 double takes in the hallway here. I am not Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Redskins.
Daniel Snyder look-alike.
That's it.
Who you
and
are.
He's a very attractive man. Let me make that point.
You're giving him a lot of credit, right?
I just want his check once. If we can get their checks crossed one time, I'll be happy and satisfied. All right, let's talk about this first half. Cincinnati, Carson Palmer, you talked about it at the start of the game. Would Carson Palmer show the poise necessary as we check out our fantasy notebook?
I think he's been phenomenal. Only 2 mistakes, the 2 interceptions really haven't hurt their football team. Those 18 completions have gone to 5 different receivers, and then Rudy Johnson, his ability to run the ball has given them balance on the offensive side of the ball. Only 8 carries for Clinton Portis, and that's because the defense has done such a good job, and they've gotten out to that big lead that really they can't give him the ball much more. And so it is the receivers for the Cincinnati Bengals that are making plays for their quarterback, Carson Palmer. So the balance on the offensive side of the ball has given them, I think, a huge advantage in this football game.
Cincinnati looking for back-to-back wins for the first time this season. And let's give credit to the defense as well. They got it done last week against Dallas, doing it again here today against the Skins. Cincinnati on the kickoff, Graham to James Thrash. And Thrash is tackled right around the 30-yard line. A penalty marker down as Kenny Watson made the play on special teams. Flag thrown, Gerald Austin.
Holding number 35 during the return. 10 yards, first down.
So back it up from the 30 to the 20 as we take a look at the halftime numbers. Overwhelming in favor of Cincinnati.
All right, you see the balance for the Cincinnati Bengals, over 200 yards in the first half, and then the inability to complete passes for the Redskins really has hurt them. And then when you fall behind and you can't complete passes, it makes it very tough to move the football.
We'll see if Patrick Ramsey can give this team a charge. He can on first down. They're just trying desperately to get Lavernius Coles involved in this offense. We talked about the keys to victory early on with the Washington Redskins. Follow up for us.
Yeah, we said that Portis must support in terms of what he's able to do to run the football. They really haven't been able to do that, and they have turned the football over. And the defense, well, they haven't really pressured Carson Palmer enough to force enough mistakes to give them an advantage in this game.
Redskins interaction at 3-5, #1 ranked defense in the NFL, allowing 16.6 points per game. They gave up over that in the first half. Knocked up in the air and incomplete. Taylor Jacobs, it bounced off of him. Torrey James had a chance at it. You know, and Joe Gibbs came out and said it. It's not all Brunell's fault. There have been a lot of drops, and Ramsey's already experienced a couple.
Oh, they've already dropped the ball twice on their first 2 plays of the second half, and this one goes to Taylor Jacobs. The first one was dropped by Lavernius Coles, and you want to get a young quarterback like Patrick Ramsey off to a good start in terms of feeling comfortable and getting him off to a good rhythm. You have to catch the ball for him. Right now, they're failing the quarterback. In the first half, the quarterback failed to receive.
On 3rd and 10, here comes the rush. Ramsey goes down. He is dumped at the 13 and a flag thrown. Dwayne Clemens on the sack and a penalty marker after the celebration. Clemens turns and says, "Me?"
Well, Clemens, he's bringing the heat off that left side, giving Ray Brown fits at that right tackle position.
There's no foul on the play. The man being held made the tackle. 4th down.
Well, there you go. Ray Brown was holding him. he still was able to get loose to put pressure on Patrick Ramsey, come away with the sack. So the Bengals defense already setting the tempo here in the second half. They know that the Redskins have to throw the ball to get back into this game, and you could tell they went in at halftime and they talked about how to put pressure on the quarterback, and so far they've executed.
Another 3 and out for the Redskins. Tupa to punt again. Big kick by Tupa. O'Neal back at the 33. Flag down. Here's Delta O'Neal. Coughs it up. O'Neal fumbles, and the Redskins recover at the 43. Penalty marker, as mentioned, was thrown early on. Recovery to James Thrash, the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week.
Ineligible downfield, number 46 of the kicking team.
Wow.
5 yards, replay 4th down.
Liddell Betts. Wow. Ineligible downfield. Washington gets a positive, taken away by yet another negative.
Disastrous for the Redskins, because this is how you get back into a game. You have to create turnovers, shorten the field for your offense, and not only that, it's Liddell Betts who's down on the play.
So the Redskin medical staff checking out Liddell Betts at the Cincinnati 40-yard line. We are 29 seconds into this second half. They're going to help Betts up off the field. Liddell Betts' durability has been a question mark with him. A second-round pick out of Iowa, now in his 3rd year. And the main backup to Clinton Portis. They also have Rock Cartwright in his 3rd year from Kansas State.
Now watch the collision. There's Liddell Betts as he comes in. He's the guy that put his hand on the ball and was able to strip it and get it out of the hands of Delta O'Neal. It was just friendly fire. His own man ran right into him. It was on that collision where Liddell Betts came up injured.
Brandon Barnes came in for the big stick and ended up hitting his own teammate on the play, but Betts is walking off the field on his own power, and Washington will have to re-kick. So instead of having the ball in Cincinnati territory, Tupa is backed up 5 yards, and Delta O'Neal is standing at his own 46. Awaiting the punt from Tom Tupa. Didn't get all of this. Does take a Washington roll. O'Neal from midfield, and he picks up a couple. 42-yard punt. Marcus Washington makes the play on special teams, but Cincinnati will have the football at the Washington 48, already leading this one 17-0. Early stages, 3rd quarter, Cincinnati with a 17-0 lead on Washington, and the Bengals take over a 1st and 10 from the Redskins 48. First possession of this second half for Cincinnati. A double tight end set, Kelly and Stewart for Palmer. They'll throw on 1st down, complete to the 45. T.J. Hushmanzada continues to get a lot of action here this afternoon, a 4-yard gain.
From the beginning, we said the Bengals would have to run, Rudy, run. They've been able to do that for 62 yards so far in this game. Carson Palmer has shown that he can be poised under the pressure here, and the defense has done an excellent job at stopping Clinton Portis. So right now, getting an A the first half, playing very well with the exception of 2 turnovers by Carson Palmer.
On a 2nd and 6. Give up the middle, and no gain for Rudy Johnson. Tonight on CBS, nature wreaks havoc when 2 massive storms collide. Don't miss the original movie event New York Newsday says delivers thrills and twisted fun. Category 6, Day of Destruction. Tonight at 9, 8 Central on CBS. Rudy Johnson heads to the sideline, 62 yards and a touchdown on the ground, and a 3rd and 6 for Cincinnati. 4 wide receivers set. Dime package for the Redskins. Short drop and a throw that's incomplete. Palmer looking for Hushmanzada. And Cincinnati can't take advantage of the good field position.
Well, you have to admire that the Bengals are continuing to press the issue, continuing to be aggressive on offense. That's the way Marvin Lewis wants to play the game. But I think they're going to also have to be careful. Don't turn the ball over. You know, that's the main way, or I think the best way for the Redskins to get back into this football game. They're looking to turn the football over and shorten the field for their offense.
Kyle Larson will punt it for Cincinnati. James Thrash standing at his own 11-yard line. High punt by Larson. Thrash moves out of the way, and the Bengals cannot down it before it hit the end zone. A touchback. Good effort by the Bengals special teams. 44-yard punt, but a net of just 24. Washington football when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Redskins and the Bengals at FedEx Field. These two teams haven't played since September of 1991. It was a 34-27 Washington win. Gerald Briggs had 3 touchdowns on the day. 1st and 10 from the 20. Clinton Portis finds a lane, and he's got a first down. Good block by Derek Dockery, pulling along that right side, a 10-yard gain.
There you see the first 7 possessions by the Washington Redskins. It's punt, interception. They lose it on downs, and so they really have struggled offensively. But on that last play, you saw that counter tray play where they pull the backside guard and tackle, and able to hit it inside. It's the least favorite play of Clinton Portis, but he runs it very well.
Second lowest scoring team in the NFL, just ahead of Miami. The Washington Redskins looking for a spark here on a first down. Ramsey, high throw. Lavernius Coles the target. It'll be 2nd and 10. Monday, Dave's all new with Jerry Seinfeld. And later this week, don't miss Listen Up star Jason Alexander, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady, and Howard Stern. Dave's all new all this week on CBS.
Ryan, Patrick Ramsey, and Mark Brunell, they're taking the art of quarterbacking to another level. Continue to miss receivers who are wide open.
That's a lower level, I think.
Absolutely.
Yes? Okay, yeah, just to confirm. Handoff, Clinton Portis, and carrying some tacklers with him as Portis picks up 5 yards on the ground. Landon Johnson able to make the stop.
So they've yet to abandon the running game, continuing to go to Clinton Portis. You see what he did last week against the Detroit Lions, 147 yards rushing, and today only 9 carries for 42 yards. So still giving him opportunities, but when you're down 17-0, you have to make plays in the passing game.
On a 3rd and 5. Just under 12 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. A lot of movement. Here comes the rush, and Ramsey's a sitting duck. Landon Johnson, first career sack for the rookie from Purdue.
You think Marvin Lewis doesn't want to win this game? He brought the safety Kim Herring up, and then Landon Johnson, he comes scot-free because they're forced to pick up either one or the other. Virtually, you have to pick your poison. You take one guy, the other one's going to come scot-free. That time it was Landon Johnson getting in on Patrick Ramsey.
Here's Tom Tuchel once again. Spiraling kick to Delta O'Neal, returnable from the 28. O'Neal, little shake and bake move, tries to come upfield and able to fall forward for a gain of a couple. 5 yards overall. Marcus Washington, the stop on special teams. Well, for Marvin Lewis and the Bengals, a comfortable 17-0 lead. Washington Redskins just looking for a play, looking for something to start this team. Maybe it'll come on defense. A 1st and 10 for Cincinnati, and Rudy Johnson is cut down quickly by Ryan Clark of the Redskins for a gain of 1. Hey, are you looking for a fresh start to your fantasy football season? This is your last chance to sign up for NFL 4th quarter fantasy. It's the first ever midseason fantasy game, and it's absolutely free. Go to NFL.com or NFL on AOL and sign up today. 2nd and 9 for the Bengals, 10:40 to go in the 3rd. Fake the handoff. Palmer throws on a crossing route. Chad Johnson. And Johnson is tackled after he gets the first down. 10-yard gain. Ryan Clark, another stop.
And there are bodies flying all over the place. They blitz, and watch the blitz checkoff. It's Chad Johnson coming over the middle, and watch Sean Taylor come flying up. Thought he had an interception. It's Chad Johnson making the reception on the pass from Carson Palmer, but give credit to the running backs, Rudy Johnson, for picking up the blitzer, and then Palmer standing in the pocket to make the completion.
Chad by himself has more total yards than the Redskins right now. They try to go outside. Good spin by Rudy Johnson, and fumbles the football. Washington's got it. gets Washington on the recovery. After a great individual effort by Rudy Johnson, he makes the mistake of coughing it up.
Well, turnovers are the great equalizer. If you want to allow them to get back into this game, an excellent move in the box with the spin move, able to get to the second level, but he does not secure the football and turn it over to the Washington Redskins.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you? And by the Sony Grand Vega HD TV. High definition like no other.
Rudy Johnson, a rare fumble for him. Just his second lost fumble in 460 touches. Gives Washington the ball. Ramsey, low throw, incomplete. Looking for the rookie Chris Cooley in a matchup with the linebacker Brian Simmons. Monday, all new night of Seinfeld surprises on CBS. Wayne Knight, Newman reunites with Jason Alexander on Listen Up. Jerry Seinfeld performs new stand-up on The Late Show with David Letterman, plus new episodes of Still Standing, Everybody Loves Raymond, 2.5 Men, and CSI Miami. It's all here Monday on CBS. 2nd and 10 now for the Redskins after the turnover from their own 39. Here's Ramsey stepping up and throwing the slant to Rod Gardner. Bengals thought it was incomplete. Gardner's got it, and he's got the first down in Cincinnati territory.
Yeah, it's just a good play. And finally, the quarterback and the receiver, Ramsey and Gardner, are on the same page. He got open, presented both numbers to the quarterback, and this time Patrick Ramsey was able to hit him right on the money. A low throw, but look at him bring it in. He did double clutch it, but I think he was able to haul that ball in.
And the line of scrimmage is now the 49 for Washington. Redskins just trying to make a move here, trailing 17-0. Play action. Ramsey throws right to the wrong man, Torrey James. And the Skins give it right back. James leads the NFL in interceptions with his 6th of the season.
This is excellent bump and run coverage. Now watch him jump in what we call the trail technique. As soon as he breaks out, see him get his head around, he finds the football. It's almost as if he were throwing it right to Torrey James, because what he did was he ran to the intercept point where he expected the ball to come in. It's just great anticipation. It's a veteran defensive back. Now 6 interceptions so far this season.
Ramsey and Brunell a combined 4 of 19, 45 yards and 2 picks between the two of them. So no harm done after the Rudy Johnson fumble. And off, it's Johnson again. And the Redskins ready for it, a gain of 1 on first down. Clock is moving, under 9 minutes to go now in the 3rd quarter. And Cincinnati with the 17-0 lead. Coming up Monday, a new CSI Miami. No one ever died from speed dating until now. The clues from this case come from women who knew the victim for only 5 minutes. Don't miss a new CSI Miami. That's Monday at 10, 9 Central on CBS. 2nd and 9 for the Bengals. Fake the handoff. Palmer rolling out. Palmer throwing on the run. And incomplete. Out near the sideline, it was broken up nicely as he was looking for Chad Johnson. Sean Taylor, the big body, the big free safety, helping to make the play.
He is a big guy. Take a look at the standings in the AFC North. Crucial game for the Bengals. Can't allow Baltimore and Pittsburgh to pull away. They still have games left against Pittsburgh at home, against Baltimore as well, and still a game yet to be played against Cleveland. So there's still some chance to move up the standings in the AFC North division.
Bengals will be home for Pittsburgh next week. A game we'll have for you right here on CBS. On a 3rd and 9, Palmer deep drop. Palmer throws, open man into Washington territory. It's Kevin Walter. In his 2nd year from Eastern Michigan, coverage from Fred Smoot, and a first down for the Bengals, 18 yards.
Yeah, it's an excellent route ran by Kevin Walter, and watch the throw by Carson Palmer. This ball's not in the air long, and with great accuracy, he's able to deliver this pass to Walter underneath Fred Smoot. He turned Smoot all the way around, broke underneath, and the ball was right on top of him for the reception.
Just the 2nd catch of the season for Walter. 1st and 10 at the Washington 46. Handoff, Rudy Johnson. able to take that opening and carry it for a solid gain of 5.5. 7:35 remaining left in the third quarter.
And this is who Rudy Johnson is. In between the tackles runner. He's not a real big home run hitter, but certainly able to break tackles. The spin move, I think it kind of caught him off guard, had to catch his bearings, was not able to secure the ball. That's why he fumbled on that play. But when he lowers his shoulders, he's as good as anybody.
Second and a short 5. And off Johnson. Trying to carry the pile. It's short of the first down marker. Ronaldo Wynn, along with Lamar Marshall, there to bring him down, but he picks up 3.5. We'll see where the spot is. Marvin Lewis's team is in control with a chance to go to 4-5 and live to see another week of meaningful football.
And they continue to stay balanced on this drive. 5 plays, 3 run plays, 2 pass plays, and they're continuing to attack this defense for the Washington Redskins.
On a 3rd and 1, Johnson's the power back. And Johnson falling forward. Joe Salavea, first man there, and he didn't get it on first look. No gain on the play for Rudy Johnson.
When we talked to Levi Jones, he said we want to get that dominance back in the running game. 3rd and 1, you're Marvin Lewis. You have to believe you can win in 3rd and 1 situations. Get the push with the offensive line, run the football. So far, very successful with 83 yards running and 198 passing. So they do have the balance.
They're going to go for it on a 4th and 1. Didn't get it on 3rd and 1. Palmer sends Hushmanzada in motion. Palmer rolling, throwing, and knocked down. They go for it on 4th down, and the Redskins come through with Lamar Marshall.
How about Marshall getting over underneath this pass to knock it down? Carson Palmer had a man wide open in the flat, and it would have been a first down if Marshall doesn't run underneath this pass. See him get underneath it. He had T.J. Hushmanzada wide open. Would have been an easy first down had not Marshall got a hand up to knock it down.
And this is Marvin Lewis trusting his defense to go for it from the 38-yard line. He likes what he has seen today from the Cincinnati defensive unit, and he's asking them to come through once again. A 1st and 10 for Washington. We'll call it the 38. Here's Ramsey. Deep ball. Ramsey down the sideline. Broken up. Rod Gardner in a matchup with Delta O'Neal. And O'Neal on his back in a little bit of pain.
He's down, but certainly he turned the hips, was able to get a hand up on this ball. And I thought another step, he could have been beaten, but yet he's able to stay right on top. Did get a hand up to distract the vision of Rod Gardner.
So as they have tested the Cincinnati corners throughout the day, we came in under the impression, hey, let's keep an eye on the Washington cornerbacks. They're having great seasons. It's been the Cincinnati corners that have really dictated play. Clinton Portis has not been a huge factor here today. 10 carries, 52 yards, going in the passing game again. Ramsey thrown off his timing, but connects to Lavernius Coles. It was Justin Smith who applied that heat on Ramsey. They'll give him a gain of 9. CBS Amazing Tuesday kicks off with the premiere of the new Amazing Race, Ordinary People on the Adventure of a Lifetime. Don't miss the premiere of the new Amazing Race. That's Tuesday at 9, 8 Central on CBS. 3rd and 1 now for Washington. How about Portis? Have they just forgotten about him here?
No, I don't think they have. I think they continue to go back to him, but when you're down by 17-0, you have to try to score quickly. They're going to give him the ball, though.
And Portis is going to get it here and get him a first down. Clinton Portis cruises into Cincinnati territory. And this drive will continue for Washington. Corey Raymer, good block.
It's a quick toss. See him, watch him block down. They run to the bunch, looking to hit the corner with the speed of Clinton Portis. See him block down, and then they pull the backside, or I should say front side guard and tackle, and then they're able to get to the perimeter. It's just the speed of Clinton Portis allowing him to get to that second level.
Their first 3rd down conversion of the day just now. Clinton Portis, they're now 1 of 9. And a 1st and 10 for Washington in Cincinnati territory. Almost intercepted by Smith. A defensive end dropping back in coverage. And he's upset. That was a gimme.
Oh, this is your zone concept. See, he's on the line right here. Now watch him drop off. See him just get right underneath that slant route and they threw the ball right to him. That's anticipating the hot read because they're blitzing, understanding that second receiver is going to break it off with the slant route. Justice Smith breaks right underneath it. Could have had an easy interception.
I'm not sure a speed rusher is going to get a bigger gift than that. Dropping back into coverage on a 2nd and 10 now for Ramsey and the Redskins from the 45. Ramsey is sacked and loses the ball. Washington able to recover. Langston Moore jarring it loose. The 5th Cincinnati sack of the day as Chris Samuels recovers it.
Langston Moore is a rookie. He's playing for Tony Williams, who's been lost for the season. He comes in to get the sack, and he's one of 6 rookies that play on this defense for Marvin Lewis. So they have a lot of young players who are continuing to grow and get better each and every week. D.U. Williams is one. Landon Johnson, so many young players are beginning to make plays.
On 3rd and 17, Ramsey guns and should have been picked off by O'Neal. It's incomplete. It doesn't matter if it's Brunell or Ramsey. The same results continue to plague Washington on offense.
I know Thanksgiving is right around the corner, but right now, Patrick Ramsey has been way too generous with the football. And this possession alone had 2 potential interceptions dropped by Justin Smith as well as Deltha O'Neal.
3:39 to play in the 3rd. Washington quarterbacks are now 5 of 22 passing. The punt from Tupou. And O'Neal a fair catch. 42-yard punt. Not a lot to celebrate for Washington so far. It's a 17-0 Cincinnati lead. FedEx Field. 3:32 remaining in the 3rd. Cincinnati with a 17-0 lead on Washington in a 1st and 10 for the Bengals. Crowd desperately trying to get involved here. Palmer faked the handoff. On the throw, Jeremy Johnson, the fullback, and he's bottled up quickly by Fred Smoot. No gain on the play. A look around the NFL standings. New England 7-1. Costly loss for the Jets earlier today to the Baltimore Ravens, now 6-3.
And Buffalo is a team I think you really have to keep an eye on because their defense is so good, and now that Willis McGahee has come on to give them a running game, I think they're a team you have to keep an eye on.
2nd and 10 for the Bengals. On the give, Johnson trying to run off tackle. Able to break one tackle, breaks another. Rudy Johnson forced out of bounds, just shy of the marker, a 9-yard gain. Hard-working Rudy Johnson doing the extra dirty work. AFC South standings, Indianapolis and Jacksonville in a flat-footed tie.
Starting to see some separation with what Indy did to Houston earlier today, and now Jacksonville and Indy right at the top. So you know, I think where the icing is in the AFC South. They are the cream of the crop right now, Jacksonville and Indy. And as we were talking about that separation, they're going to be there in December.
3rd and 1. Handoff, Rudy Johnson trying to push himself forward. Sean Taylor in on that stop. It'll all depend on where they spot the football. Right along the marker. Just looked like he came up just a bit shy.
The Bengals aren't going to get away from running the football. Going to be faced with that 3rd and, or I shouldn't say 4th and 1 situation. They're going to punt it this time. Not going to go for it after they failed last time.
So Washington, the defense leaves the field after a job well done, having Cincinnati pinned back deep in its own territory in a 4th down. Kyle Larson will punt it. James Thrash is the return man, standing at his own 39. Larson. Here's Thrash. Has some room to work with, cutting it to the outside. Thrash across the 40-yard line. And that's where the Redskins will have it. Kenny Watson able to make the stop on special teams. Hey, are you desperate for some great entertainment tonight? This is the one event that you have to see. The 2 biggest storms in history collide, causing massive destruction. And everyday Americans become heroes. Category 6, Day of Destruction, tonight at 9, 8 Central. Here on CBS. 1:32 left. We're in the 3rd quarter. They make the move, Joe Gibbs does. Fans react here at FedEx Field from Brunell to Ramsey, but we have not seen the improvement on offense in the passing game.
Ramsey right now is 4 of 15 and nearly intercepted twice on the previous drive and has thrown 1 interception in this game.
1st and 10 at the 41 for Washington. And Ramsey on the give. Here's Portis through the gut, trying to push himself ahead. He gains 2 yards. John Thornton in on that stop for Cincinnati.
And you might ask, what's the problem, I think, with the quarterbacks for the Washington Redskins? We know it's a very complicated offense they have to run, and maybe a little too much. Mark Brunell says, hey, I played in the same offense down in Jacksonville for the last 8 years, so even for a veteran like Brunell, there is a learning curve.
2nd and 8, has the protection, and has his man, Taylor Jacobs, out across the middle. A 1st down into Cincinnati territory. It covers 14 yards to the 43.
That time, Patrick Ramsey did have time to throw the ball and deliver the strike. And the catch was made. They've had some drops, but they've had some poorly thrown footballs also.
Quickly to the line of scrimmage. 38 seconds left in the 3rd. Handoff, it's Portis. And Cincinnati prepared defensively with John Thornton helping to make that stop. A 4-yard pickup for Portis.
Portis has done a good job running the ball. 13 carries, over 60 yards so far, but the Bengals haven't allowed him to break one off. Hadn't had that big run that Clinton Portis is accustomed to.
Has a long run of 64 yards this season. Only 2 touchdowns for Portis. 2nd and 6. Good grab by Taylor Jacobs, and he goes down to the turf just short of the 1st down marker to the 35. It's a 4-yard gain as time expires here in the 3rd. 17-point hole for Washington. Cincinnati leads it. We go to the 4th. Start of the 4th quarter, 17-0 Cincinnati. Ian Eagle, Solomon Wilcots, the Hogs. We got everybody here at FedEx Field as we start playing the 4th. Clinton Portis able to move it for the 2 yards he needed and then some. An 8-yard gain and a 1st down. This is the deepest Washington has been in Cincinnati territory all day.
And they began this drive with a hurry up, going a little no huddle. It changed the tempo and the timing. Now they are going in the huddle, but they were able to start real fast on this drive. And right now they seem to have some rhythm and balance in terms of their run-pass option.
And a 1st and 10 at the 27. Washington in desperate need of a touchdown here to get back into it as Portis moves forward. Madieu Williams in on that stop, a 5-yard gain, and he just keeps getting chunks of yards, 5, 6, 7 a clip.
Well, they haven't gotten away from Portis, and what that does, it slows down the Bengals pass rush, because if you're going to just drop back and throw it every single time, I think the Bengals can tee off on Patrick Ramsey. They have been able to put pressure on him. The defensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier, understands that, but you have to be mindful of Clinton Portis. Can't allow him to break one off.
2nd and 5 from the 22. Jacobs is in there. And a throw to the flat. Ramsey on the swing pass. Portis with a flag down. Crosses the 10-yard line. It's a 1st down if it stands for Washington. But a penalty marker on the play.
Holding, 52 offense, 10 yards, repeat 2nd down.
That's the veteran Corey Raymer, the center, who rarely makes mistakes in that position.
Costly penalty. And what did Joe Gibbs tell us about Clinton Portis? He said, I think he's a very good football player without the football. He talked about his ability to pick up the blitzes and pass protection, but then he did throw a touchdown last week, and now you see him used on the outside, lining up as a wide receiver, running the screen from that position.
They put Taylor Jacobs in the backfield trying to throw off the defense. And now a 2nd and 15 back at the 32. Betts is in there for Washington. Royal lines up the line of scrimmage, the tight end. Motion man Gardner on a 2nd and long for the Redskins. Deep drop. Pump fake. Ramsey takes a shot as he crossed the 30-yard line, and Ramsey able to hold on to the football as Simmons and Moore collaborate on that hit. A 3-yard gain. Coming up tonight on CBS, it begins with America's #1 news magazine, 60 Minutes, followed by a new episode of Cold Case. Then 2 of the biggest storms in history are about to collide, creating the worst natural disaster in America. See why Tom Shales calls this CBS original movie event a thrill around every corner. Category 6, Day of Destruction. It's all here tonight on CBS. 3rd and 12 from the 29. Here comes the rush. They handle it. Ramsey throws. Deep ball. And broken up. Rod Gardner in a matchup with Delta O'Neal.
O'Neal did an excellent job of understanding the route. He knew that Gardner was going to go deep. So he's deeper than Gardner and had an excellent chance to come down with yet another interception. The second one he's dropped today. But still, he's on top of the coverage, not allowing Gardner to get behind him for a touchdown. So the cornerbacks for the Bengals are coming up huge today. Delta O'Neal, Torrey James playing a wonderful ball game.
Well, Washington still needs 3 scores. You can do the math. So they figure they'll try the field goal here. Ola Kimrin, he's the rookie from Texas El Paso. And he missed it badly. Wow. Long attempt for Kimrin, native of Malmo, Sweden. His long was 41, and Joe Gibbs just rolled the dice on a 47-yarder. No John Hall. It proves costly for Washington. In the Hall of Fame coaching career of Joe Gibbs, he has never lost 4 straight at home in the same season. And that's what the Redskins are staring at right now. They opened the year with a victory at home over Tampa Bay. 1st and 10 for Cincinnati at the 37. On the handoff, Rudy Johnson. And he picks up a yard. Cincinnati's going to use some clock here tonight on 60 Minutes. People were sick and dying. So if the makers of Vioxx knew that there were problems, why did they keep selling it? The story on 60 Minutes tonight here on CBS. 12-11 left to go in the 4th quarter. Cincinnati holding on to that 17-0 lead. Defense has done the job for the Bengals here today. Washington came in with the ballyhoo defense, ranked number 1 in the NFL. Palmer, deep ball, looking for it. Incomplete. Hushmanzada and Fred Smoot. And Smoot got a helmet full of sod.
Smoot was on top of this play, never allowing TJ Hushmanzada to get behind him. And Carson Palmer figured, why not take a shot? Should have let him, I think, more to the inside of the field. Once you throw it back over the outside shoulder, it allowed Smoot to be in perfect position to make a play on the ball.
Now a 3rd and 9. Smoot, talkative type, a free agent at the end of the season, and he will draw some attention around the NFL. On 3rd and long, Palmer out of the gun, steps up, throwing to the sideline, flag down, and incomplete. Kelly Washington mixed up with Fred Smoot. Penalty flag, as mentioned, right at midfield. Cincinnati pointing in Washington's direction.
Illegal hands to the face. 24 defense, 5 yards, automatic 1st down.
That's Sean Springs, the 8-year veteran. Got the big signing bonus of $10 million to come here to Washington and play for Greg Williams and Joe Gibbs.
At that time, Sean Springs was locked up in man-to-man coverage on TJ Hushmanzada. And they said that he jammed him in the face, and so they're going to call it. You can't hit him in the face, nor can you make contact after 5 yards.
Which means Cincinnati gets a 1st down and can eat up more clock at the 11:51 mark of the 4th. Play action. Palmer, deep ball again, airing it out, looking for Johnson, incomplete. Well, Cincinnati not going by the usual script of a 17-0 lead in the 4th quarter.
They continue to stay aggressive in the play calling. That time, Chad Johnson was able to beat Sean Springs. It was a play action fake. He was open, wide open, and would have had a touchdown had Carson Palmer put that pass on the money. So Marvin Lewis staying aggressive in the play calling, allowing Bob Gronkowski to continue to take chances against this defense.
2nd and 10 now for the Bengals on the bootleg. Palmer rolling, throwing, incomplete. Tony Stewart couldn't catch it. Marshall was shadowing him either way. AFC West standings as we update the numbers. Denver and San Diego. Talk about one of the big surprises. We mentioned it in the Wisdom of Solomon earlier. The San Diego Chargers.
Drew Brees is just phenomenal. But look at Denver. 3-0 inside of the division. So right now I think they have a lock on it. But certainly still a ways to go. Only 9 games played. So there's still work to be done.
On a 3rd and 10 for Cincinnati. Working out of the shotgun. Palmer on the flip. Good play to Kenny Watson, and just could not get to the marker. Looked like he had it as Ryan Clark was able to zero in on him and make the stop, a 9-yard gain.
We've seen Sean Taylor make some hits. We've seen Ryan Clark come up and lay some licks on the ball carriers for the Bengals. This secondary is very good with the Washington Redskins. Not just both the corners that we talk about, Springs and Smoot. But Sean Taylor and Ryan Clark, they've impressed me today.
So after the shovel pass, it almost turned into a new set of downs, but Washington able to hold. Kyle Larson to punt it. James Thrash, the return man, standing at his own 11-yard line. It's all about clock now for Cincinnati. They've got the lead, and the defense has been terrific throughout the day. Thrash caught from behind as he got to the 20-yard line. Good play by Cliff Russell on special teams. A 34-yard punt, a 6-yard return, and we remain at 17-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game. Dr. Pepper and your Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. And by Nextel. Nextel helps groups get things done. Nextel. Done.
Night has fallen on our nation's capital, and Cincinnati has a 17-0 lead on Washington. 10:45 to play. We're in the fourth quarter. Redskins have it, a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Portis in the backfield. Patrick Ramsey stepped in for the ineffective Brunell, and Ramsey almost has it intercepted by Madieu Williams. And a flag down. Justin Smith with the hit on Ramsey.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 90 hit the quarterback in the head. 15 yards, first down.
Justin Smith, he's working against Chris Samuel, one of the better tackles in this league, but he just don't hit him in the head. I don't know that he did hit him in the head, certainly not intentional, and a very late flag. I don't know if you could ask anything more of Justin Smith.
A 15-yard penalty after an incomplete pass, and I tend to agree with you. That's where the action took him. He didn't seek out the hit on the helmet of Patrick Ramsey. First down for the Redskins. Ramsey, home run ball, incomplete. Lavernius Coles, he got turned around. Torrey James had the coverage.
All right, the Redskins, their quarterbacks have missed the mark here today. They've been pressured, been battered and bruised, and when they have had time to throw it, they've been intercepted and have overthrown their intended receivers. So the Bengals are coming away with more completions than the Redskins receivers, and they've dropped a few interceptions today. So they really have struggled. See Patrick Ramsey's numbers and Mark Brunell. He was taken out of the game after attempting 8 passes and completing only 1.
7 of 27 between the two of them. 71 yards. Ramsey guns. Complete. It's Coles finally getting involved for Washington into Cincinnati territory and down at the 44. A first down for the Skins. 21 yards on that pass play.
And if you're the Bengals, you could ill afford to relax and allow Patrick Ramsey to start getting hot. 10 minutes left in this game, plenty of time for them to come back. 1 touchdown, and they're certainly back in at 17 points. That's not a huge lead.
Just the 3rd catch of the day for Coles. A deep drop on first down for Ramsey. Wobbly throw, and he's got his man Jacobs. 2nd year out of Florida and a 2nd-round pick. That covers 8 yards, and Jacobs slow to get up. Punched over now.
Well, they laid a lick on Jacobs. He's down right now, but Bengals are going to have to figure out a way to slow down the Redskins offense.
It was Torrey James on the hit, and a timeout with 9:49 left. Providing a service here. Tomorrow's headlines today, Solomon.
Well, the Steelers improved to 8-1. How about Peyton Manning? He throws 5 touchdown passes in a game for the 3rd time this season. That ties an NFL record set by Dante Culpepper. Jaguars, Ravens, Bears, they win in overtime. But Peyton Manning on pace to break Dan Marino's single-season touchdown record. He had 48 in 1984. Dan Marino, you're our guy. But you may be going down.
Handoff to Portis, who is hit quickly. A good shot by Landon Johnson. He picks up a couple yards on the carry. I think Marino's sweating. There's no doubt. Danny's feeling it.
No doubt. Peyton Manning on pace to throw for 55 touchdowns this season. I think it's just incredible.
MVP season last year. He shared the honors with McNair. He's looking for the whole enchilada this year. 3rd and 1 now for Washington. Last gasp for the Redskins. If they have any hope of even putting some pressure on Cincinnati, they have to get points here. Handoff. Portis has a first down, but a penalty marker. And it's thrown back at the 35. We've seen it on a few occasions today.
66 offense, 10 yards. Repeat, 3rd down.
When you think Washington's got a positive, it's quickly negated, and here's another negative. Portis limping off the field after that carry.
Oh, he's the money man. You can ill afford to lose him, and he has been making some gains here in the second half. Despite being down 17 points, they continue to give it to Clinton Portis. Every time he breaks one off, they call it back. This time the penalty on the left guard, Derek Dockery.
Portis trying to shake it off. Now, his body has never been through the wear and tear that he is going through this season. 3rd and 11 now for Washington, under 9 minutes to play. Motion man is Thrash. Here's Ramsey in the pocket, throwing to a spot. Lavernius Coles, first down, Washington. At the 30-yard line, Ramsey able to hit his target for 13 yards.
And that time the Bengals, they could not put pressure on Patrick Ramsey. Did have time. Watch Coles. So he'll find the open space right underneath the cornerback, Torrey James, expecting some help from Kim Herring, who should have been in the flat underneath that pass. No way it should have been completed.
And this drive remains alive with a 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Portis is back in there for the Skins. Ramsey to throw it again. Steps up underneath the coverage to Portis. And doesn't gain much on that first down throw. They'll give him 3 yards. Landon Johnson able to touch him up. And a 2nd and 7 upcoming. Look around the standings. NFC East, Washington at 3 and 5. Philadelphia trying to run away with the division. The New York Giants looking to keep pace.
So the Eagles play Dallas tomorrow night on Monday Night Football and could increase their lead in that division.
7.5 to go on the 4th. 2nd and 7 with the Bengals winning this one 17-0. Ramsey directing traffic. On 2nd down, here comes the rush. They handle the blitz. He throws to Coles. Squirts his way ahead for a first down. It covers 11 yards. And a new set of downs for the Skins to work with.
And you have to play 4 quarters of football. Look at Torrey James at the bottom of your screen. You know you're blitzing, so you know it's going to be a 3-step drop. You have to just really shorten down in that coverage, not to give the receiver so much room. You tighten up, be prepared to make that tackle. That time provided way too much room for Lavernius Coles.
And Washington not working very quickly here as time continues to evaporate. 6:45 and counting left in the 4th. Fake the pitch. Ramsey will throw, and Portis unable to catch it. Incomplete.
That's that screenplay that they had run so effectively over to the other side earlier in the quarter. That time he wasn't able to make the catch. He certainly had room to run had he made the catch.
2nd time today we've seen them line up Taylor Jacobs, a wide receiver, as a running back, and Portis sets up on the outside.
You know, Portis has been really good at catching the ball out of the backfield. I think that's where he's improved, and certainly being asked to do it much more here than when he was with the Denver Broncos.
2nd and 10, 6:40 mark, 4th quarter. Line of scrimmage is the 17 for Ramsey and the Redskins. Motion man Royal. Another toss underneath. Gardner wants to throw it. Getting to the end zone. Coles can't bring it in. It's incomplete. They went into the bag of tricks and came up empty.
Well, this is something that Joe Gibbs is known for. They're going to give you something different every week. It's a wide receiver pass. They throw it over to Gardner. Watch, he gets the ball out very quickly, and an excellent throw over Delta O'Neal, and then Coles is not able to bring it in. Kevin Caseforhan comes over for the safety. He's able to break it up, able to knock that ball out of the hands of Lavernius Coles, who had it for a split second.
You're right. It was Caseforhan who made the play. Gardner, pretty good throw out there. 2nd time he's thrown it this season. Now 0 for 2. Crowd the line on a 3rd and 10. Rush coming. Ramsey gets rid of it. Well short of a first down to Lavernius Coles. Case Mahorn delivered that hit on Patrick Ramsey as Torrey James was in coverage.
Yeah, and a much better play that time by Torrey James. That's what he should have done on the previous third down play. You know you're going to blitz, and you have to come in and tighten up your coverage. But look at the quarterback passer rating for the Redskins quarterback today. 19.4. That's somewhere south of pathetic, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's in the NFL handbook somewhere.
It's unanimous.
So now they're going to take the field goal, a 33-yard attempt for Ola Kimrin. Still need 3 scores, but boy, do they ever need the touchdown to give Cincinnati something to think about. They'll settle for the field goal. They will get the sarcastic applause from these Redskins fans as Washington does get on the board, but major mountain to climb.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Circuit City. For the hottest new technology, think Circuit City. Just what I needed. And by Dockers, shirts and pants that do it all.
Last week, the Cincinnati Bengals held the Dallas Cowboys to 3 points in the Bengals' victory. They're doing a similar job on Washington here today. First 3 points of the afternoon. Ola Kimrin, the short field goal, 33 yards. And Kimrin will kick it off to Deltha O'Neal. No onside kick. They decide to kick through. O'Neal on the return and goes down at the 22-yard line. Chris Cooley makes the play on special teams. 17-3, Cincinnati with the advantage. The elite in the NFL right now. It's a 3-way race.
Well, I still have to give it to this team right here, and that's the New England Patriots. I know the Steelers did beat them earlier this year. Remember, they were without Corey Dillon in that game, and they were also without Ty Law. And when you lose some of your best players, I think they will play again. But I'm going to have to still give it to the New England Patriots. It was a game where they didn't have all their people, so they'll see each other again, I'm sure.
1st and 10 from the 22 for Cincinnati. On the pitch, Rudy Johnson gets clubbed. And Johnson took a clothesline from Sean Taylor. Clock is rolling as we approach 5 minutes to play in the 4th.
Well, we said these safeties for the Redskins can hit. Here's Sean Taylor coming up from his safety position. He has the speed to close and then the size and the power to lay a lick when he gets there. He just uses his shoulder. Let's take a listen.
Whoa, that's an impressive arm tackle.
That's putting lifters on the running back.
Johnson inching closer to 100 yards on the day. Johnson gets the carry here, trying to shuffle his way forward as he carries to the 24-yard line. A pickup of 1. Pierce and Clark combined to bring him down. Upcoming games for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers on the horizon. Cincinnati will have a home game, then Cleveland, then hit the road for some challenges.
Well, one thing is they've been very strong at home, winning big games against Denver and Dallas. They'll still play host to Pittsburgh, to Cleveland, and then to Buffalo also. But then to have to go on the road against Baltimore, the New England Patriots, and then they'll finish out on the road at the Philadelphia Eagles. So still a lot of work to be done for the Cincinnati Bengals. But coming away with a win here today, if they can hold on for a win, it really puts them in a really good position to make a run and close out pretty good.
Now for Washington, 3-5 right now, and unless something drastic happens, on their way to 3-6 at Philly, at Pittsburgh, the Giants, Philadelphia, and San Francisco, the upcoming games for the Redskins. Doesn't get easier for Joe Gibbs and company. 3rd and 8. This play never happened. Flags down.
False start. 63 offense. 5 yards, and it's still 3rd down.
5th penalty of the day called against Marvin Lewis's team. They came in averaging 6.5 penalties per contest. Bobby Williams called for the false start.
You know, this has been a problem for this offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals. We talked to Levi Jones about it. He said, you know, we've had guys who have been hurt. He's missed time in training camp, and so has Eric Steinbach. Bobby Williams is very new to this football team.
On a 3rd and 13, under 5 minutes to play. Again, that shovel, Kenny Watson. Little juke move by Watson, and he comes up short of the 1st down. Marcus Washington with the tackle. It's a gain of 10. Cincinnati forced to punt. And Washington has used its second timeout, 1 remaining for the Redskins.
So they're looking to conserve some time and try to get a quick score. And that's what you have to do. Try to conserve some time. The Redskins are not out of this game. They're 1 play away from making it a 1-touchdown game.
Time of possession in favor of Cincinnati. All the offensive numbers in favor of Cincinnati. The one concern for the Bengals, 3 turnovers here today, something they've been able to avoid in recent weeks. Joe Gibbs trying to put his team in a position to at least put pressure on the Bengals. If they get a touchdown, all of a sudden we've got something brewing. 4:45 left. Larson, the punter. James Thrash standing at his own 30. Thrash goes back to the 25 to get it. Here's Thrash making a move up the middle and then stood up shy of the 35-yard line. Matt Schobel makes the tackle on special teams. NFC South current standings. Atlanta getting the victory earlier today against Tampa Bay, and New Orleans. There's the Buccaneers, disappointing. Carolina leading your list of disappointments earlier.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of weapons on that team. Steve Smith, Deshaun Foster, now Stephen Davis is out for the year. That represents over 60% of their total offense from 1 year ago, and they were really pretty good. And then to lose Chris Jenkins, the all-pro tackle from that team. So they've really struggled. But what the Atlanta Falcons is doing, what Jim Moore has done with that football team is very impressive.
Ball is spotted at the 34. Portis is in there for Washington on a 1st and 10. Last-ditch effort by the Redskins to make a game of this. Ramsey, deep ball. Ramsey broke it up. Coles was there, but Deltha O'Neal was able to get positioning in the secondary.
Do you need cornerbacks to play defense in the National Football League? I think so. We've already seen Torrey James make plays, but look at Deltha O'Neal. Keeps it in front of him, and then at the last minute, times the jump, and that's just great athleticism. Now he's got to make the catch. He's dropped 3 of them today. He's had an opportunity for 3 interceptions, but you have to give him credit for the footwork. The fundamentals is something that Marvin Lewis has really been preaching with Deltha O'Neal. That's what allowed him to make a play on the ball on that play.
Now a 2nd and 10 for the Redskins. 4:25 left in the 4th. 14-point differential. Ramsey, a deep drop. Ramsey slings over the middle. It's complete. McCants able to make that catch. The youngster from Delaware State. It's a 27-yard pass play, and it gives Washington new life.
Well, McCants is a big target going over the middle of the football field. He's 6'3", 214 pounds, so pretty hard to miss him. That time, Patrick Ramsey delivered a strike as he was working against Torrey James.
Still have 1 timeout remaining and the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 from the Cincinnati 39. Ramsey trying to lead the Redskins back. Ramsey over the middle, complete again. McCants able to get it to the 20-yard line, turning it upfield for a 19-yard gain.
And McCants has provided the spark. Patrick Ramsey looking for him, just standing in the pocket. Offensive line providing protection, and McCants is finding room to run after the catch.
1st and 10 now from the 20. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Portis in the backfield. Ramsey steps up and throws to Taylor Jacobs, diving forward for a Washington 1st down.
And you see what happened when you don't finish off the play. We talked about Deltha O'Neal dropped a potential interception, could have gotten them off the field. You give an offense a second chance, now they make a play, and now they have a spark, and now they're knocking on the door and looking for a touchdown.
1st and goal from the 9 for the Redskins. Cincinnati has outplayed Washington the entire day. They lead it 17-3. Redskins in a furious comeback attempt with a 1st and goal from the 9. Ramsey, fake it on the reverse, throwing up top. He had Coles on a post pattern. Incomplete. Too high for Coles. It's 2nd and goal.
A marvelous design play by Joe Gibbs. They fake the reverse, and all they do is just run Lavernius Coles inside on the slant. He's able to get underneath the cornerback, and this was a potential touchdown. You have to hit him. He's wide open. He overthrows Lavernius Coles, who was working against Keywan Ratliff, the rookie. Torrey James had to come out of the game. He's still not in.
Second and goal from the 9 for the Redskins. Trailing by a pair of touchdowns. Motion man is Cooley. And Ramsey wants to throw it. Ramsey, knocked down. Dwayne Clemens, who has had a heck of a game for Cincinnati on that defensive line.
Dwayne Clemens showing some versatility. We saw Justin Smith, a defensive end for the Bengals, earlier drop back into coverage and nearly had an interception. Now is Dwayne Clemens' turn in that zone blitz protection where you drop linemen into coverage. It's all meant to fool the quarterback. That's what Marvin Lewis is very good at, designing schemes so that his defense can make a play.
Looking for their first road win of the season. Cincinnati 0-4 away from home. This is a 3rd and goal now for Washington. 2:29 to go. Ramsey in the pocket. Ramsey has time. Guns. Caught. Chris Cooley. Touchdown, Redskins. Third touchdown of the season for the rookie H-back, Chris Cooley. And Washington is back in it with 2:22 left to play.
And you don't think Patrick Ramsey is becoming comfortable standing in the pocket? They gave him plenty of time to throw the football. He was able to look and survey the entire field. Made the completion to Chris Cooley.
Extra point, Kimron. Washington still has 1 timeout remaining and the 2-minute warning. They have put pressure on Cincinnati here late in the 4th quarter.
Watch the protections. You see plenty of time to look down the field, and he's able to get it to Cooley. What an excellent catch. And I think the tip of the ball just broke the goal line. He's working against Mediu Williams. See the option? He goes in, then he slides back out. And Mediu Williams, who's looking at the quarterback, just loses an angle to make a play on the football as Kim Herring comes over the top. You have to be able to front the receiver down around the goal line. You can't play from behind him because he's going to catch the ball in front of you.
I got to tell you, Solomon, it looked like he landed with the football on the turf. On that 2nd and 3rd look at it, man, that is tight.
Well, it looked like the ball may have dislodged, but they've already kicked the extra point.
Yep. It's academic now because the extra point is through. They've given them the touchdown. And right now, Washington trails Cincinnati 17-10 with 2:22 remaining in the 4th. A 7-play, 66-yard drive.
And Patrick Ramsey, 4 of 7 on that drive. So we talk about him becoming more comfortable, and he really got it going.
Well, really one option here for Washington. An onside kick. Have to recover. You just don't have enough time on your side to kick off and let your defense play Cincinnati. Onside kick scenario for the Redskins. Trying to recover and remain alive here at home.
Timeout, Cincinnati, their first.
A real good timeout called there because they had yet to get all their men over to that side of the field to get properly aligned. And Marvin Lewis didn't like what he saw and understood, hey, we have to call a timeout. Let's know what we're doing. Let's give ourselves a chance to get this kick, because if you allow the Redskins to get this ball, I'm afraid that bad things can happen for Cincinnati. Right now, the Redskins have great momentum.
Tonight on CBS begins with America's #1 news magazine, 60 Minutes, followed by a new episode of Cold Case. Then, 2 of the biggest storms in history are about to collide, creating the worst natural disaster in America. See why Tom Shales calls this CBS original movie a thrill around every corner. Category 6, Day of Destruction. It's all here tonight on CBS, America's most watched network.
Well, this was a game that had a lull, but it's become a thriller because the Bengals have allowed the Redskins to get back into this game.
So Cincinnati able to see the Washington formation on the onside attempt and calling the timeout just before Kimron made his approach. There's the shift and a pivotal onside right here. Knocked up in the air and caught easily by Cincinnati at the 40-yard line. It's Marcus Wilkins, a backup linebacker. So the drama never materialized. Cincinnati 3-5, very close to moving to 4-5 with 2 minutes and change left on the clock trying to keep within that AFC North race. Baltimore got the huge win earlier today against the Jets. Some extracurricular activities after that catch made by Wilkins. For Washington, a loss would drop them to sole possession of last place in the NFC East, with Dallas playing on Monday night.
And the Bengals with a win, and then they get a chance to host Pittsburgh next week at home. So a couple of important weeks for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, if Cincinnati does not get a first down, just quick math, Washington could still get the ball back with about 1:10 left. Handoff, Rudy Johnson, the pile getting pushed. And he picks up 3 yards on first down. Quick timeout for Washington. 2:15 remaining. They have no timeouts left, but they do have the 2-minute warning. So we're looking best case scenario, that 1:10 range for Washington, if they can hold Cincinnati without a first down on this drive.
Yeah, and the Bengals have to execute. You just can't slam it into the line and expect to run time off the clock and then turn this ball back over to the Washington Redskins. So, you know, Carson Palmer told us, he said that's the thing that he's found most difficult about playing in this league, is winning football games.
But we've talked about it off the air, Solomon, and the difference between Carson Palmer and Ben Roethlisberger. Palmer has been asked to make plays late in the fourth quarter with his team trailing. This has been more like a Pittsburgh type of win where his team has the advantage late.
That's right. And then 3 of those 4 instances that you're talking about. Remember, against the Jets, the late interception. Again, against Tennessee, the late fumble. And then against Pittsburgh, the late interception. So he's been asked to do things, I think, rather early. It's just too much to put on a young rookie quarterback.
Washington is out of timeouts. This is a 2nd and 8. Handoff, Johnson slamming it through the hole. And a 3-yard gain. They will take it down to the 2-minute warning. If Cincinnati gets a first down, the game is over.
I called him a rookie quarterback. He's a first-year quarterback, but certainly, you know, he's growing in experience, and he has his Bengals knocking on the door, very close to a victory.
They're trying to close the door. We'll see if they can do it when we come back. A 3rd and 5 for Cincinnati with 2 minutes remaining. Bengals with a 17-10 lead. Washington has no timeouts remaining. A first down for Cincinnati, and the game is over. Palmer on a handoff. Rudy Johnson. He stopped. Washington will get the football back, but the clock will continue to roll. Sean Taylor, first man to stick his helmet in there with Ronaldo Wynn, and a 1-yard gain.
And I don't see the punt team coming. Oh, here they come right now. It's as if they were thinking about it.
On 4th down, Washington has no way to stop the clock other than incomplete passes or getting out of bounds. And Cincinnati will use all of this. They still have 2 timeouts remaining. Play clock is down to 2. Larson. And we'll let it go down to 0 and take the penalty. Back it up 5 yards, give them more room to work with.
It's exactly what they want to do. You don't want to kick this ball into the end zone and give them the ball at the 20-yard line.
Call from Gerald Austin. And Washington may turn it down.
Delay of game on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Now they're going to force him to kick it right from there.
Smart play. It's a chess match between Marvin Lewis and Joe Gibbs.
So 1:14 on the clock. Larson, the punter. James Thrash back at his own 10-yard line. A 7-point disparity. Here they come trying to block it, and Larson just gets rid of it. This will be down inside the 10-yard line. Kevin Walter able to slap it out before it went to the end zone. They may spot it at the 11. But Cincinnati did a nice job getting down the field on special teams to make sure this was not a touchback.
Excellent job of fielding that ball. Had it been a touchback, it would only been a net gain of maybe 14 yards for the Bengals. But certainly you want to try to pin that ball inside the 10-yard line. You see the play made there by Walter. It's a really good special teams play, and now giving the Redskins the long haul. Have to go 90 yards.
Give you another one. Because Walter touched it up, it actually used up more clock. And now Washington gets it with 1:01 left. The question may be whether or not Walter had been in the end zone.
We have touching by the kicking team. No touching by the receivers. Therefore, the ball belongs to Washington at the 11.
That's where they'll have it. Washington has to go 89 yards to tie this game.
There's Walter there. No, he was not in the end zone when he touched the ball. And right there, they're saying that the Bengals touched it at that 11-yard line. They have to bring pressure on Patrick Ramsey.
Just over a minute left. Can Washington rally here? Ramsey over the middle. Clinton Portis. No timeouts remaining as Portis turns it upfield. But now time is going to be an issue. 52 seconds left.
No timeouts left. It's strictly hurry up. But the Bengals are going to have to put pressure. Force Patrick Ramsey to make a mistake. Don't allow him to be comfortable in the pocket.
They are not on the same page. They are not on the same page right now. And there's the spike. It could have been done 6 seconds earlier. And a flag is thrown. I'm not sure they were set at the line of scrimmage. 38 seconds remain. The spike from Ramsey to stop the clock.
We have a false start. Number 80 of the offense did not get set. That's a 5-yard penalty. And by rule, a 10-second runoff on the clock.
A killer.
Please reset the clock to 28 seconds.
And they lose time.
So the 10 seconds come off. They back them up 5 yards, and that one looked disheveled from the very beginning as they approach the line of scrimmage. So Ramsey now will have to operate from the 20-yard line and only 28 seconds left. Ramsey with his team down by 7. Throwing complete. Again underneath. Portis has to get out of bounds, and he does. With 20 seconds remaining, they gain only 7 yards on the short pass play.
A 4-man rush by the Bengals. Not much pressure on Patrick Ramsey. But the Bengals are doing a good job in the secondary of keeping everything in front and really locking up in their tight coverage. Ramsey was forced to dump it off to Portis, who was able to get out of bounds and stop the clock. They lost 8 seconds, but sooner or later going to have to take a shot down the football field.
Now 2nd and 8 for Washington. Only 20 seconds remain. And still a lot of real estate in front of him, down by a touchdown. Ramsey pump fake. Ramsey throws, broken up. He was looking for Gardner. And it was Keywan Ratliff, the rookie from Florida, that got a piece.
Ratliff made an excellent play on the ball, knocking it down. That was a really nice throw by Patrick Ramsey.
Only 15 seconds remain. And a 3rd down upcoming for Washington. Cincinnati looking to move to 4-5 and win their first road game of the season. Last road win was November 30th, 2003 in Pittsburgh.
You ain't going forward.
On 3rd down, only 15 seconds left. Ramsey rolling. Ramsey stops and throws. Deep ball. He's got a gun. Throws it up for grabs and intercepted. This one is over. Picked off back at the 14-yard line. Kim Herring with the pick. And Cincinnati has pulled it off on the road over the Washington Redskins. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Tony Petitti. Today's game produced by Bob Dekas, directed by Larry Cavallino. The senior producer of CBS Sports and the NFL Today is Eric Mann. The director, Bob Mattina. Coordinating producer of CBS Sports, Harold Bryant. The associate director of today's game, Andy Kaplan. Broadcast associate, Josh Hall. Technical manager, Rick Godwin. Technical director, Phil Doucette. And the audio supervisor, Phil Adler. The Cincinnati Bengals get the road win they have been searching for. Marvin Lewis, the former Washington defensive coordinator, comes back to FedEx Field and gets the W. Coming up tonight. Except on the West Coast, next is 60 Minutes, followed by a new episode of Cold Case, then a CBS original movie event, Category 6, Day of Destruction. That's going to do it from Landover, Maryland. For Solomon Wilcox, this is Ian Eagle. The final score at FedEx Field, Cincinnati holds on for the 17-10 win over Washington. Thanks so much for joining us. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.
It's a feisty Week 10 on NFL Primetime. The Steelers try to ride the bus to a record-setting win in Cleveland. The Sunday battle started extra early. Quincy pilots the Jets into OT against Ray Lewis and the Ravens. Would time be on their side? Michael Vick runs the Falcons to a big lead. Would the Bucs make a big comeback? Seattle and St. Louis in a fight for first, while the Pack could get back on top with a win against the Mossless Vikes. The G-Men hope to rebound in the desert. KC looks for points without their TD leader, while Peyton Manning keeps up his record-setting TD pace. The fight for the playoffs heats up. Week 10 of NFL Primetime.
NFL Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to Week 10 of NFL Primetime. Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson. And we had some, although not headline games, 1 versus 2 in 3 of the 4 NFC divisions. A couple of second-place teams in the AFC going at it. And there's some teams that we know what we're going to get from them. Not many.
Five teams that I know are pretty good football teams in this league.
Yeah, but here's what I know we're going to get from the Colts. Offense. And you know what? Houston found that out today. Here we go. We saw the Monday night, that scintillating game between Peyton Manning's Colts beating Dante Culpepper's Vikings. Today, Houston in town with a pretty good offense. Manning, Brandon Stokely, they're at it again. 7-0 Indy. That was a 3rd and goal from the 4. Later first quarter. Remember, Houston had a good season going. They went into Denver and were overrun. They're facing the same thing today. Robert Mathis. What, the Colts can get a pass rush other than Freeney. It's a fumble. The Texans recover, but Carr already knows you're in for a long day, says Mathis. Then Manning at the 5 on 3rd and goal. Just buys the time to touch to Reggie Wayne, stately Wayne Manor, 14-0 Colts. Second quarter, same score, and watch Manning with play action to another one of his weapons. The sophomore, no slump here that he's healthy. Dallas Clark, 3 TDs, 21-0.
Excellent catch at the back of the end zone, and when all of the weapons are working, it's a pretty unstoppable offensive unit.
And here's a different weapon. This is Brandon Stokely. Watch this. Getting outside of 3 Texans, picks up a block, and he beats everybody down the sideline. Good. Go all the way. 69 yards, 30 TDs. Manning for the season. He had 29 last year. Oh, by the way, he was going MVP last year. 28-0. Then here's Mathis again, who had 3 sacks and caused 3 fumbles. Boom! Bob Sanders, remember the 2nd-round pick that never signed? He did, and he signs himself into the end zone. 37 yards, 35-0 Colts. And then, is Manning done? Well, they're at their own 20, so, you know, they got to move it out of there. And how do they move it? Manning, people forget he can move, Tom, and so can this guy, Dallas Clark. Bang! That passes right on the numbers. Good. Go all the way. 80 yards. Touchdown. 49-14. Indianapolis. 5 touchdown passes. Peyton Manning for the 3rd time this season. 5 touchdown passes for Peyton Manning. Now given, let me do this, 20 TD passes, Tom, the last 5 weeks. And Indianapolis, pretty good week for him, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
Monday night.
Pretty good week, and I think the thing that's going to be exciting for Coach Dungy is the way his defense played. If they can have any semblance of defense, middle of the pack, with this offense, they're going to be an unstoppable football team.
And speaking of offense, Peyton Manning now, again, you hate to project. This is just, remember when Dan Marino in 1984 and the Dolphins started off 9-0 and kept rolling? Marino had a record 48 touchdown passes. Through 9 games, he had 27. Through 9 games this year, Peyton Manning has 31. Are the Colts good enough on offense? I mean, good enough, like great enough on offense.
Yes, great
to, hey, look, the best their defense is going to be, even if everybody comes on as mediocre, middle of the pack. I don't know if it's going to get there. Are they good enough? Can they score enough points? Kansas City tried it last year, Tom.
Well,
you know,
look, I think that they're going to find out. You know, when I talked with Coach Dungy this week, the one thing he is not going to do is play to the defense. He's not going to try to, you know, limit offensively what we do, run the ball a lot so that the other team doesn't have the football against our defense. We're going to go out when all things are clicking, when we're clicking on all cylinders, we're going to score 35 points. Let's see who can match that. Today is encouraging because the defense played the way I think he thinks they can play going down the stretch. Maybe not every game, but he wants to see improvement on a weekly basis.
Here's what they have. the highest powered offense in football with a quarterback who is the best in the league right now.
That's correct.
So you add all that up, and I'm thinking San Francisco, whatever. Good week for the Colts when we return here on NFL Primetime. Big Ben, Ben Roethlisberger back in his home state of Ohio, where the Steelers finally have a down game. Don't count on it. And speaking of the Chiefs, their high-powered offense, would it be good enough to upend the Saints, who come through when you least expect it?
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great-tasting low-carb Miller Lite. And in part by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And Hager, innovators of forever, new shirts and pants. Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Detroit and Jacksonville, two of the surprise teams this year, hook up, and that's David Garrard with Byron Leftwich out for 4 to 6 weeks. Garrard gets his second NFL start, and it helps when you have Fred Taylor. What? Look at this. Does this look like the old Fred Taylor? I guess so. And look at the gets the block downfield by Garrard. 144 yards rushing, season high. Taylor, that's a 42-yard pickup. Later on 3rd and 6, Garrard. Nice spin. That looks swift to LeBrandon Toefield. He puts his Toefield into the water and in the end zone. And 7-0 Jaguars. Done. The fourth quarter will score 17-0 the game over until Eddie Janitor in a Drummond picks up the ball that's not yet down by Jacksonville. And Drummond, who had a kickoff return early this year, makes the move on the punter Hansen. Touchdown. Special teams getting the Lions back in it. Now that's one play in the fourth quarter. This is a minute to go. 17-10, Drummond. The whole world knows what he's trying to do. Look at him beat the wall. Look at him get a block. Look at him go down the sideline. Don't tell me he's going to do it again. Could go all the way. Only 11 times NFL history, 2 punt returns in a game. He did 2 1/4 overtime. But 3rd and 8. I have a feeling Jimmy Smith's going to catch a 10-yard pass, miss 2 guys, and do it in the end zone. Touchdown. Garrard, Jimmy Smith, overtime, and Jacksonville squanders a 17-0 lead, but win an important game, this time not Leftwich. It's Garrard, another Jacksonville quarterback, pulling it out, winning 23-17 despite the heroics by Drummond.
Yeah, but I think anytime you tell Fred Taylor, you're going to be the focal point of our offense, we've got our backup quarterback in, when you can get these results, they don't lose anything with Leftwich off the field.
They had 415 yards in offense. Detroit only 190. Here's a team that can move the ball. Kansas City, Trent Green, even though Priest Holmes out. Strained right knee ligament, but no problem. 7-0 Chiefs. It's about to be more. Derek Blaylock. Remember, he and Holmes each had the 4 touchdowns rushing a few weeks ago against Atlanta. Blaylock first down. Then Willie Rolfe. Look at this, Tom. He's playing great.
Well, this is what he's been doing all year, knocking his guy out of the way, opening up either lead lane or backside lane for Blaylock or Holmes.
Meanwhile, Blaylock scores a touchdown. Saints had gone ahead 20-13, now 20 all. Aaron Brooks. 6 minutes to go to Joe Horn. After every catch, Joe's going to give you something. I wish we'd save it for the touchdowns, but he's a good receiver, moves the chains. 1st and 10 on the 42, Brooks. Horn, there it is. Joe, don't bother me now, I'm on the horn with a touchdown. 27-20 Saints. Trent Green, not done. Tony Gonzalez, under 3 minutes. Gonzalez, inside the 20, first down Kansas City. $1:25 to go. Green. Now he tries to off the hands of Blaylock. Picked up by Orlando Ruff. So the Saints in business. One last shot, Chiefs to the 39. Green stripped of the ball. Fumble. And boy, you thought a couple weeks ago, Kansas City, would they have 101 points in 2 weeks? They'd be back. Dick Vermeil's Chiefs are now 3-6. The Saints, Jim Haslett, his team actually wins for him. Wins it 27-20. So despite the fact that the Chiefs had the ball for 36 minutes, despite the fact that they rolled up 497 yards, they lose 27-20.
And we've got a New Orleans team sitting at 4-5 with 5 divisional games left in this football season. And as you said earlier, I would not count this football team out.
When we return on NFL Primetime. So, You thought that the Steelers and Browns had a big rivalry, but maybe it had fallen a little shy? I don't think so. We'll explain what happened before the kickoff. And the Falcons and Bucks in a fracas, and they were battling for first place in the NFC South.
Chevrolet Fantasy Ticker is brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American Revolution.
Sunday Night Football, the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots' only home game in a month against division rival Buffalo Bills and old friend Drew Bledsoe. To frosty Foxborough for highlights, here's Steve Levy.
As seen here on ESPN Sunday Night Football, the Bills and the Patriots. Drew and the Bills have lost their last 3 straight at Foxborough. Got off to a rough start. Buffalo's already down 13-0. Bledsoe's pass intended for Lee Evans. Forget about it. It's Teddy Bruschi. Bruschi the other way. He'd return the ball to the Bills' 27-yard line on the ensuing possession. Hey, Joe Theismann, what should the Pats do here?
Dillon's not in the game, so hey, why not throw it to number 88 again? He's on the right side.
88 on the right side. That's Christian Fourier. Tom Brady. Play action. Thinking like Theismann connects with a 5-yard touchdown pass. 20-0. New England at the break. Early in the fourth, Bills at the ball. You know, Drew Bledsoe and Troy Brown hooked up 218 times when they were teammates. That's when Bledsoe was aiming for Brown, but now Brown's playing DB these days an awful lot. His first career pick. Pats win. Sunday Night Football continues next week at 8:30 Eastern right here on ESPN. Brett Favre and the first-place Packers take on the Texans. The game is preceded by NFL Primetime and followed by SportsCenter. Now, back to Boomer and TJ.
Here we go, a couple late games. Team that have won 1 game last year's Super Bowl representative of the NFC, Jake Delhomme in Carolina against Tim Rattay. And the San Francisco 49ers, Louisiana Lafayette against Louisiana Tech. First to goal from the 3. Kevin Barlow touch. The Niners are rolling away with it, 17-0. Couple field goals, Carolina. Then Kevin Barlow, fumble! Mark Fields. And isn't this a wonderful story? Mark Fields picks it up. Was Barlow down? Let's look.
Yeah, you take a look at the replay, you can see that his knee was clearly down. They challenged the call. It was reversed. He was very happy.
But meanwhile, Tim Rattay throwing out of his own end zone. Oh, no! Picked off by Fields down to the 1 line. And so now the Panthers in business. And, you know, Carolina, all their running backs are hurt. They just have fullbacks, Tom. Brandon Bennett bowls in from the 1, 17-13. San Francisco's lead down to 4. Then Jake Daylight come, and you got a Delhomme. Muhsin Muhammad, touchdown, 40 yards, 20-17, Carolina. Field goal, San Francisco ties it at 20. Tim Rattay. Brandon Lloyd, wow, touchdown, 30 yards, 27-20, San Francisco. Then Delhomme, Muhammad, game on. Tied at 27. All these teams put on a hell of a show. Later in the fourth, Panthers get a field goal. They lead 30-27. Rattay picked off by Brinson Buckner. And then now they start to look like last year. Delhomme to Muhammad. The mountain and football came to Muhammad. And the Carolina Panthers down 17-0 come back and beat the 49ers 37-27. 37-27. And big comeback for Carolina. It's been a long season, but at least they have a nice flight home.
You lose Stephen Smith, you lose Stephen Davis, you lose Deshaun Foster, but you still have the character that I think really is represented by their head coach, John Fox. This team reflects them.
All right, then. Bengals, Skins. And Cincinnati beat Bill Parcells' Cowboys last week, allowing them only 3 points. Certainly they can't beat Parcells and Gibbs' team back-to-back, could they? Well, Carson Palmer, Tony Stewart, touchdown, 14-0 Cincinnati early second quarter. Mark Brunell. Boy, he had a wonderful career in Jacksonville, but it looks as if he's just a far cry from that. Brunell, pass tip, picked off by Brian Simmons. Brunell today, 1 of 8 for 6 yards and the pick. And then behind Lavernius Coles, the Boo Birds, and then they warm up Patrick Ramsey. They had to. So the youngster Ramsey gets the call. Redskins, of course, backup quarterback in. That's always the most popular guy in town. But it's 17-0. And Ramsey, picked off by Torrey James, floats it. 6 picks for James. 2.5 to go. It's 17-3. Ramsey to Chris Cooley. The Redskins are actually in the end zone. Final chance, Washington. Ramsey trying to buy time. It's a heave-ho. And when instead of knocking it down, Kim Pickled Herring picks off the ball. Marvin Lewis. Hey, maybe they needed a half year with Palmer. It's not a full year. Now they're starting to look like a team. Dicing Dallas, beating Washington, winning 17-10. Palmer 24-39. 217 was picked off twice, but he wins his first road game of his career, Tom.
And boom, I think another one of these teams, Marvin Lewis, the head coach of this team, I think, yes, they've struggled as he's gone through these growing pains, Carson Palmer, but now a team, again, showing a lot of character, had a good second half last year, looking forward to a good second half this year.
When we return, big game in the NFC West. Sean Alexander, Marshall. Who would have the upper hand in this game? You thought it would be an aerial battle, which it really was, and how one pass may have changed both teams' fortunes in the Jets-Ravens game. The New York Football Giants at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona rearing their head lately. The Giants first half 5-3. Asi Omenuri replacing the injured Michael Strahan. And he did a good job right off. Josh Tears of McCown sacked by Omenuri. And fumble recovered, though, by the Cards' Leonard Davis. Tiki Bear, touchdown. The Giants lead 14-3. Remember last week they led the Bears 14-0. Now, Clancy Pendergast reads Arizona the Riot Act. He's a defensive coordinator. Meanwhile, Kurt Warner being read the Riot Act by the Arizona defense. And Warner not fumbling today, but Carlos Dansby with the sack. Warner holding the ball a long time. Emmitt Smith runs hard still, Tom. 2-yard run, 14-10. That Arizona has pulled right within half to within 4 points. Then Steve Christie, blocked field goal third quarter. Tiki. No, not here. And Emmitt Smith, yes, here. Emmitt, a hard run up the middle. Late third, Arizona leads 17-14. Then the one-time Bronco, Bertrand Berry, comes unmarked. Sack of Warner. Fourth sack. Then Ike Hilliard. Ifani Ohaleti almost picks it off. Great play. And now, Arizona's defense smelling it. A minute to go. Carlos Dansby in Warner's face. Tips it. Turnover on down. Hey, Arizona has won what? They're winning. They're a team that's won, 3 in a row at home? They've won on the road, and Arizona beats the Giants 17-14.
Yeah, and if you think about the Giants, I think the thing that's been their Achilles heel and will continue to be, we didn't talk about it when they were winning, we can talk about it now, this offensive line, better run blockers certainly than they are pass protectors.
So the Giants fall to 5-4. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears in Tennessee, once again, Steve McNair cannot go for the Titans. Billy Volek going. Here's a little dump pass, but no, the Bears defense. This is shades of a few years ago. Michael Haynes, the D lineman, one of their number ones a year ago. Touchdown, 7-7. Remember when Dick Duran's team won the Central, Tom? They made big play on defense and special teams. Well, smell it again. R.W. McQuarters, 7-7 game. Up the sideline. Look at him run. He's not a quarter. He's not $1. He's not a $10. He's a $100 bill. Making change. 75 yards. Touchdown. 14-7 Chicago. Now we saw Drummond do it for Detroit. Can he actually, in the same quarter, McQuarters, do it again? Turns the corner. Comes to the near side. Look at the speed. He could go all the way. 85 yards for McQuarters, but blocking in the back during the return. no touchdown. 14-10 Bears. Volek says, I'm not done. Drew Bennett, touchdown. 17-14 Titans. Volek threw for 334. 2 minutes to go on 4th and 2 Bears. Craig Krenzel, molecular genetics major at Ohio State to David Terrell. First down. Paul Edinger, field goal. Corkscrew, good. 29 yards, we're tied at 17. Now, Lovie Smith looking on as Billy Volek with 44 seconds to go to Drew Bennett. Wide open across the middle. Titans in Bears territory. Craig Hentrick, the long kicker. 52 yards blocked by Mark Colombo. Colombo takes his raincoat off, and Peter Falk and Colombo block it. We go to overtime. Volek. Oh, my God, the Bears are going to win on a... Oh, they almost won on a safety. You don't ever see a game won on a safety. Phew, Tennessee. Wait a minute. Alex Brown with the hit. Volek fumbles. Fred Miller, Tennessee lineman, falls on it. But it is a safety. An overtime game won on a safety. Only the second time NFL history. 89, Vikes, Mike Merriweather blocked a punt out of the end zone against Hatcher and the Rams. The Bears get punt return, but they've got 5 scores and the safety on defense and special teams. 19-17 Chicago. How about Lovie Smith's defense?
Well, Lovie Smith's defense, opportunistic, and Craig Krenzel figuring out a way to do what he did best when he was in college, which is win football games. We have these rookie quarterbacks now, and all they do is win football games.
Krenzel is 3-0 despite numbers that aren't great. Well, the one game on this day between the two teams with winning records going into it with the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Jets, both looking up. Ravens looking up at Pittsburgh a little bit. Jets looking up at New England in their AFC East. But the Jets had a different plan because Pennington out 2 to 4 weeks with a shoulder injury. Quincy Carter led the Cowboys to the playoffs a year ago. Could he lead the Jets to a win against Baltimore? Here we go with our prime cut at the Meadowlands. Quincy Carter won twice at the Meadowlands last year as a Cowboy quarterback. Once against the Jets, once against the Giants. So Carter has the Jets up 7-0. And on 3rd and 6 in the second quarter, he finds Lamont Jordan. Carter could buy a little time. It's going to be a 25-yard pickup. Jordan ran hard to the 18-yard line. And then Ray Lewis flagged for a personal foul penalty, mixing it up with Wayne Corbett. Billick saying it should have gone both ways, but that didn't work. And so the Jets get yards tacked on. And Curtis, my favorite, Martin, up the middle, touchdown. Martin running today against Baltimore for 119 yards. 14-0 Jets.
Yeah, and watch the lead fullback here, Gerald Soule, as he takes a beat on Ray Lewis. This is why the Jets are able to run the football so well. They hit the hole on time with Curtis Martin, and they get great blocking up front, offensive line, fullback as well.
Earlier in the game, Dave Zastido, the punter of the Ravens, knocked down by Mark Brown. He would have to lead the game. Do they have another punter? Most teams don't, but it's Cordell Stewart. Backup quarterback, now backup punter. Steps in, punts, 31 yards. Santana Moss actually made a nice scoop. You know, Stewart had 5 punts for an average of over 35 yards. That's pretty darn impressive. And in the end, helped save the Ravens with the way the game was going to go. Although, at this point, it was all Jets. Quincy Carter to Moss, and Santana pulls it down to the 17. McAllister out, Raymond Walls beaten on the play. And now the Jets, with the 2-minute warning, want Lamont Jordan to try to throw the option pass. Only Ravens were in the end zone, and Green picks it off. Now, before we show you what happened today, remember Sunday night, last minute, Cleveland trying to tie it. Ed Reed, record 106-yard interception return. Then, what happened here? So we left you with Reed in the end zone, and he decided to come out. At first you thought he was foolish, but this is Ed Reed. And he could go all the way, except right there, Will Demps gets caught blocking the last Jet, who is Quincy Carter. So 78-yard return on an ill-advised play as it turned out.
Yeah, and Will Demps should have just turned inside, looked inside of him. He would have had an easy block, could have sprung into the end zone.
And what did it set up, though, Tom? Kyle Bollard at 6'6", right?
Big
Clarence
six.
Moore, 14-7, game different. Stover field goal, 14-10. Kyle Bollard, Travis Taylor. So Bollard, who looks lost sometimes, now rallying the Ravens. 4 minutes to go. Bollard, Clarence Moore, there's the height again.
6'6".
And with a little over 4 minutes to go, the Ravens have quoted the Jets a deficit, 17-14. Quincy Carter, who had a tough second half, Now rallying a little bit to Justin McCarron's first down. Then Curtis, my favorite Mawai and company, blocking up front. Down to the 17. There's 55. Well, here's what it is. 55 seconds ago, 3rd and 6. Carter, quarterback draw, first down. But somehow we go from 50. They have 2 timeouts. It got to 18 seconds before they did anything. And on 1st and goal, Jordan, 1 yard. Then, after a timeout, Jets, Carter rolls, throws it away. They got a timeout left. There's 8 seconds to go. Herman Edwards on the field. Offensive coordinator Paul Hackett in the booth, trying to get the play in. And then 12, 11. Now this inexperienced Carter, or at least inexperienced Jet system. Tick. And now they got to call the timeout, which they might have saved for a shot at the end zone and a field goal.
And now you're limited to that last play being a pass or field goal, but you're not able to run the football.
No, and so now, reluctantly, Doug Bryan on, good, but instead of being thrilled, the Jet fans, when the game's tied, boos cascading down from the upper decks of the Meadowlands. Jets had 2 straight 3-and-outs in overtime on 3rd and 5. Ravens' second shot at it, Bowler to Kevin Johnson. 3rd and 14, Bowler, Travis Taylor for 10. And that gets it in. Matt Stover, 42 yards. Good. He won 2 games in overtime last year. He's one of the best in football, and a stunning loss for the Jets and a huge win for the Ravens. Each team 6-3 as the Ravens win it 20-17 on a game that turned, frankly, on a dime. After the game, lots to talk about, starting with the clock for the Jets.
At the end there, we had 8 seconds left, but before that, just had problems getting the play called. The clock was winding down, called timeout, and then from there, we tried to boot before that, didn't work. I didn't want to lose yardage, and I wasn't going to chance it. At that point, I was going to kick a field goal, tie the game, and just try to play defense.
We didn't get the play off on time as far as the play clock going down, and we had to be forced to call a timeout in that situation. So, as a football team, players, coaches, I mean, we all stick together, and we definitely don't point the finger.
No finger pointing, but they're talking about 8 seconds. I actually can explain that, although it's not what you want.
50 to 18.
50 to 18.
50 to 18.
If you don't know what to do, A, spike
because
it.
We've got 2 timeouts.
Just call a timeout, and then you had all sorts of options, 1st, 2nd.
Because I think that there are people who will misrepresent that as they just played for the field goal. I think if the time had been handled right between 50 and 18, you would have seen certainly that Coach Edwards wanted to win that game in regulation, but they put themselves in a position where the timeouts got used, 1 play got run, and you had to settle for a field goal because you couldn't afford to have something happen and not get 3 on the board.
The other thing, and look, this is Monday morning quarterback. Jordan could have seen that nobody was open in the end zone on the trick play, but a trick play. Look, they went for the jugular, which in some ways is fine. 21-0. But had it been 17-0, if they make a field goal there, the Ravens were stumbling on offense, and that play, and of course Reed's decision to come out, changed the game.
Boom, the only way the Ravens are going to do what they need to do is that defense is going to score points. And you've got to allow that defense to score points.
Well, they just about did. And a big win, Baltimore. Michael Vick, he can score points with his arm and legs. Vick's Falcons at home against the Bucs, who have had his number.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
2 important games in the NFC between numbers 1 and 2. This is the NFC West. The Rams, who had a big comeback against Seattle earlier this year, 5 weeks ago, and this time they didn't wait till late. They started early. 13 straight pass plays to get it going. If we only could throw the ball every time we had the snap. Mark Bulger to Isaac Bruce. Mark Bulger to Torrey Holt. Then Bulger. Why is it the Seahawks get beat by the Ram receivers you never heard of? It's never Bruce and Holt. This time it's Kevin Curtis with a touchdown. 7-0 St. Louis. Next Ram possession. Terrell Biera levels Torrey Holt. Remember, he was one of the ones who was burned in that comeback, Tom. Holt leaves the game. But the Rams continue to roll.
Yeah, and you look at the replay. I give Torrey Holt a lot of credit for running into the middle, catching that ball, knowing the safety was going to hit it.
This is Steven Jackson, Tom, with a 4-yard touchdown run. 14-0 St. Louis against Mike Holmgren Seahawks. Now, Seattle, man, once they got going, they had, Jerry Rice can't hold on. That was a tough catch. Then Darryl Jackson. These guys, can anybody catch? Can they catch? Come on, Seahawks. Darryl Jackson goes through his hands. Then Max Strong on 4th and 1 at the 39. Can't get a first down. Later in the third, it's 20-9. Marshall. But Ken Hamlin falls on the ball for Seattle. And Seahawks in business after the play. Tempers flare. Orlando Pace gets ejected for making contact with an official. It was inadvertent, but he kind of grabbed a hold of him, and you just can't do it.
You just can't grab the official at all. He was falling right there. He tried to hold himself up. The official went down. Sorry about that, brother. You're going to have to leave.
It's 20-12. Sean Alexander, big play. Seahawks are in it inside the 20, but Aeneas Williams tracks him down, forces the fumble, and Seattle with another miscue in Ram territory. Then Marshall. Down the sidelines, 40 yards, sets up a field goal, and St. Louis holds Seattle to 4 field goals. They have tied Seattle atop the division, beaten them twice, so they really have the lead, winning 23-12. Seattle 6 times inside the 30, got 4 field goals.
Yeah, and when you think about it, Sean Alexander, outstanding day, 176 yards on 22 carries. The fumble, the biggest play that he made all day. Receivers, good day, drops in the end zone, can't get the touchdown to seal the deal.
Mike Martz got tough this week with the Rams, and they showed it on the field. They had 462 yards. Meanwhile, 1-2 in the NFC South. The Mike Vick-led Falcons 6-2 against Tampa Bay, who have won lately. Vick running. Look what he does. I mean, every time you look at it, he can't be this fast. He is 41 yards inside the 10. Later in the drive, 1st and goal. TJ Duckett. Powerful run. Touchdown, 10-0 Falcons. Another Duckett touchdown, 17-0 Falcons. Brian Greasy, late first half. Michael Clayton, the rookie, 25 yards, 17-7. But overall, Greasy had a tough time with the Atlanta defense, who matched the season high with 7 sacks.
Yeah, protection of the quarterback is key. And when you see guys coming free, especially from the backside, think about how nervous Brian Greasy is going to eventually get when he doesn't know these shots are coming. And it takes its toll later on in a football game.
Atlanta furious on this play. Michael Pittman stuffed fumble. Chris Draft. There's a draft in the room, and he's gone. No, he wasn't touched. Keep going. In the end zone. Touchdown. Falcons defense quelling a Bucs uprising at 17-14. But John Gruden, flag, matches his red shirt, and they look at it again, and what do they rule, Tom?
Well, you just take a look at this. You can see that his forward progress is stopped right there. That was the ruling, not a fumble. Tampa Bay happy.
So, Jim Mora and company, furious. But his defense on 4th and 1, next play, takes it out on Pittman again. Falcons defense gets the ball to the offense on downs. And then Vick to Algie Crumpler. What a pass. Beautiful. And Crumpler crumples the Bucs' hope of a comeback. Atlanta wins it 24-14. They're 7-2. Tampa, after winning a few games, falls to 3-6. 205 yards rushing for Atlanta in this game.
Yeah, an Atlanta football team where the defense had that one little snag against the Kansas City Chiefs, 8 rushing touchdowns given up. But other than that, it's been a pretty outstanding defensive unit, along with Mike Vick, where you don't want to see him come playoff time.
And we showed you the sacks. And so Atlanta now in a driver's seat in that division. When we return to Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns renew, how do you say it, acquaintances. And huge game in the NFC Norris division between the surging Pack and the slipping Vikes. Down to the wire at Lambeau.
Inside the Numbers. Brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
He's going across his head, just like you rattle anybody else, man. You got to get to him and go across his head and make him think that somebody's rushing him and it's not, so he get the ball out a little faster. And if he's holding it, try to take it to him.
That might cost you about 15 minutes.
Hey, it'll be well worth it going across the quarterback's head.
So the Browns-Steelers rivalry alive and well, as Gerard Warren earlier in the week, as you heard, saying we're going to get to the unbeaten rookie Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh. You know that sat in Pittsburgh. And so much for a we're not that interested in after beating the unbeatens New England and Philadelphia. Here goes Pittsburgh into Cleveland. And a nice sight before the Warren saying, obviously, to Roethlisberger, hey, you know what, that wasn't personal. But however, this was William Green Browns, Joey Porter Steelers getting into it before the game, and it looks like, you can't totally tell, could be Green spit on Porter. Porter throwing punches, both ejected from the game before it even started. So, Bill Cowher, you know what that
didn't make him happy.
No. You lose one of your best defensive player, arguably. Meanwhile, they got plenty of players on offense. First drive, Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger to Hines Ward, 18 yards. Roethlisberger to Ward, 22. Look at Hines, 22 yards, the moves. And then Warren is number 61. He's going to be chasing Roethlisberger. And Ben can move here for the big guy. Talk about a guy who grew up in Northern Ohio, went to school at Miami of Ohio, and he's playing in Cleveland, and now he can Jerome Bettis, 5 yards.
Yeah, and take another look at this. Look where the offensive line starts. Everybody's in the end zone. And at the end of this, referee just pick out the guy with the football.
103 yards for Bettis, who's just a handful of yards shy of Tony Dorsett, 5th all time. Now, second quarter. Watch Hines Ward on the block on the scramble by Ben Roethlisberger. How does he feel this time? He's a rookie. And right there, Hines with the big block, and Roethlisberger's 20-yard scramble sets up a Bettis 1-yard run, and 14-3 Steelers. Steeler defense, meanwhile, Troy Polamalu had a pair of picks for Polamalu. Pick the pecker, pick the pecker. Meanwhile, fourth quarter, Blitzburg is back, Tom. Look at him chase Jeff Garcia. Lee Suggs, boom, Ferrier.
Pressure all day, coming from different places. They're excited. They're as active a defense as we've seen this year, and Cleveland felt it. Look at them come through. Look at them chase the quarterback. Look at them make plays.
And there's a fumble. Aaron Smith knocks it loose. Russell Stuvats picks it up, and the defense. And Bill Cowher, lots of Pittsburgh fans made the trip. Look at him. You think he's enjoying this? Why not? Ben Roethlisberger, rookie quarterback, Miami of Ohio, 7-0. Since I've been keeping track of this stuff since the merger, nobody else has done that. And the Steelers, 24-10 winners over the Browns. They don't lose their sight, do they?
No, I think that this Steeler team is a team that definitely has a game plan. The quarterback understands what he needs to do. The rest of the team around him clearly understands what they need to do as well.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've done it both sides of the ball. And as we go inside the numbers, Bettis with a C-note, Curtis Martin had a C-note in the Jets game. When you're on a list with E. Smith, W. Payton, B. Sanders, E. Dickerson, and Jay Brown, you are on the list of lists in pro football. Bettis and Martin climbing up the 100-yard rush game list. And so the Bucs, another start for him today, had another 100-yard gain. So, you know, this is not a... He's got plenty of tread on the tire. And here's the thing. I mean, Pittsburgh has big-time performers all over the offense, don't they, Tom?
Well, and I think they understand clearly working hard for each other. Want to show you this football team and what they're willing to do in terms of sacrifice for the next guy. It's the wide receivers all blocking for each other. Here, Roethlisberger is going to go to Ward, but it's Burris and it's Randall L. looking to throw the blocks to get him the extra yards down the football field. Receivers working hard at blocking, something that a lot of them don't necessarily like to do. Ben looking to his right, coming back to his left. Again, now he's scrambling. He's in trouble. Burris coming back to me, giving me a place to throw the football. You can see him running right back toward the line of scrimmage so he has a place to throw the ball. Here, Roethlisberger on the scramble. Jeremy Tooman throwing a block out on the sideline. Hines Ward coming back to spring him for the extra 5 yards there, 6 yards, making sure his quarterback, again, doesn't get hurt. And here, watch Burris here kind of, he's going to stop, deke the corner, corner's looking right at him, then seal the block, keep pumping downfield. give your quarterback some yardage, make sure he doesn't get hit. And I think that if this team is going to be a great football team, and I think they certainly potentially could be that, it's because of the way they work, because of the way the machine works.
And it's a team like New England has done, different than New England, but it seems like everybody understands the big picture.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, pretty interesting when you have lost the game since September. Meanwhile, Mike Tice's Vikings, tough loser on Monday night in Green Bay, where the Vikings, Brett Favre has a losing record all time against the Minnesota Vikings. Favre and the Packers off a bye week to Javon Walker. 50-yard touchdown. Favre, remember he had the hand and the thumb injury bye, coming at the right time for him. 7-0 Pack. 14-10 Packers until Amon Green. 35 yards into Viking territory and a first down. Same drive. Midway through the second, Green. 17 yards to the Vikings 17. Then Favre. Boy, he does this with his tight end so often. Bubba Franks, touchdown. 17 yards, 21-10, the Pack. With the score 24-10, Dante Culpepper. Remember, no Randy Moss today. Nate Burleson, 8-yard touchdown. It's a 7-point game. Packers back. Favre. William Henderson. Fullback in there. 31-17. But the Vikings not done. 4th and 2. Culpepper to Burleson. That's nice. Burleson 11 for 141 today. Ontario Smith. 2 yards. Touchdown and shoveled. 31-24. Vikes. Hold. Get it back. Culpepper. Burleson. Down to the 17. 2-minute warning. Same drive. Culpepper. Mo Williams. He waits. He spins. He bulls. He scores. 17 yards. Tied at 31. Kickoff. What a game. Robert Ferguson starts up. But look at this. It's going to be a fumble. Vikings. Oh, it's off their hands. Green Bay maintains possession. And with 1:12 to go, what could happen?
With Brett Favre.
What could happen? Brett Favre, Lambeau Field. Favre. Tony Fisher. 25 yards. Down to the 29. Brian Longwell. 33-yard attempt. Gun goes off. Game over. Field goal good. Longwell's field goal. Brett Favre. 4 touchdown passes. Dante Culpepper. 4 touchdown passes. The Green Bay Packers, once 1-4, now 5-4. The Minnesota Vikings, once 5-1, now 5-4, tied for first in the NFC North Division.
And I said this morning, Brett Favre's going to be Brett Favre. Amon Green is the key. The 21 for 145 is going to set them up offensively. It's going to be a tough team down the stretch.
And maybe the most likely to chow. We're a long way away from worrying about who's in the title game, but we have plenty of candidates for game balls. We'll be back.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great-tasting low-carb Miller Lite. And in part by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. And Nexium. Talk to your doctor about prescription Nexium. Primetime Performers, brought to you by Nexium. Talk to your doctor about prescription Nexium.
Boomer, my game ball goes to Peyton Manning. I might be doing this again before the season's over. 5 touchdowns today, for the 3rd time this year. Over 300 yards throwing the football, and I don't think there's anybody who runs his offense, maybe ever, as well as Peyton Manning does.
Well, I got a guy that runs his offense pretty darn well as well. Like salad day. Boy, Manning and Favre hooked up in that great game. They make their opponents want to take Nexium. Favre with 4 touchdown passes on this day, and the Packers are back in first place. The NFC, we got Eagles 7-1, Falcons 7-2. Everybody else 5-4, 4-5. Ooh.
Special teams.
Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Special show. Thanks for watching.